Yeah!
It's Josh Williams here with another bonus episode of the One Man Podcast. Today I am joined by two of my favorite human beings on this planet, my two closest friends, Jimmy and Micah. Guys, thank you so much for being here today and doing a podcast with me.
You're welcome.
What up?
Yeah. So the reason I had these guys on today is it's my birthday. It's January 19th. We're recording this.
Birthday.
It's my birthday, guys.
Yeah.
I'm 35.
I am 35. Now, you guys will be hearing this episode Friday, the whatever the fuck it is, Friday from the 19th. 7 days from now. Can I do basic math? The 27th, will it be? 26th. I apologize. I gave it an extra day.
You're very quick on that.
But regardless, it doesn't matter because you can check your calendar. This is being recorded a week before you hear it. So yeah, anyways, I wanted to have my friends on. It's an opportunity. I do a lot of interviews with comics and stuff, but these two guys are funny. We've got lots of funny stories and whatnot.
How?
So you guys are basically, you're on the
What
spectrum
am I amusing to you?
We're on this spectrum is like a broad band of
retardation.
Okay, fair
Yeah,
enough.
I just wanted
Gotcha.
to- just in case. I gave you it simple. I
But
gave
we're
you the
all
benefit of the
eye.
doubt, but you guys were too retarded to
In a
know what I
sense.
was talking about. So
What? Wait, are we going to start the?
we've already started recording.
Oh,
So I guess I would start by all my listeners. I want to let you know that these are the two
Hi,
guys
Mom.
who these are two of the guys who've been with me long. These are, let's put it this way. These are the guys who used to have to explain to people what my personality was like before they could just sweep it under the
it
rug
was
and say he's a comedian.
Full-time job.
Yes, there was many times. And I'm sure you know what.
Are you guys going to go out? Is Josh coming tonight? Okay, listen. You have to understand. Like he sees the world differently than you and I do. Okay, everything is funny to him. So I'm sorry in advance.
Your grandmother's vaginal cancer is going to make a lot of jokes happen.
Yeah, what do they call that? Caveats?
Yeah.
Just like having to deal
Yeah, a lot of
with situations.
Yeah, let me just tell you about. So, anyways, we've been friends for a very, very long time.
Actually, I just did the math on it.
Did you?
Yeah, I just before we started here. So officially 20 years.
20 years this year?
Yeah,
That's pretty
and
exciting.
we'd be 21.
Wow.
Yeah.
We being Jimmy and Micah, they actually knew
20
each
years
other. You
in
guys knew each
September.
other before Glebe, right? We all went to Glebe High School
Grade
together. We
8.
met in grade 9. You two met in grade 8.
Grade 8.
Yeah, I moved to Ottawa in grade 8 from Kitchener-Waterloo.
Yeah. So how did you two become friends? And I got to say the deeper voice is Micah. The
Higher one, that's me.
The deeper
That's-
voices.
I don't know.
I've never.
I don't know. Well,
heard that
okay, so let's
before.
put it
Yeah.
whatever. You're deep, he's deep and raspy. How's that? The raspier voice is Jim.
I'll go deep.
Doesn't fucking matter. Nobody gives a shit.
It's always difficult with us.
It's not like they're going to see you guys individually at some point and go, now I can differentiate their voices. There's going to be a picture they can look at, maybe.
We met
Grade 8.
Yeah, grade 8 at Hopewell Public School. My brother dated your sister for like a week, I think, when they were both at Glebe.
Right.
And she was friends. Your sister was friends with Allison Starr,
Yeah.
who was Cody Starr's older sister.
And I name drop in Ottawa. Fucking
yeah,
locals.
absolutely. And I used to hang out with Cody all the time. And your sister would be there and say, "Oh, my brother's coming." And like, maybe you guys could all be friends and blah 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 blah. As kids go. And I was like,
making like little
Awesome.
pre-high school
Yeah.
play
Thanks,
dates.
sis.
yeah. And
It's like that Dazed and Confused scene.
I was like, yeah.
I told them to
sure.
be nice to you.
That's pretty much exactly how it started. And then when the school year started and you showed up, I knew who you were and we did not talk.
No, we didn't talk at first. Like it was
At Glebe or at
At
I
Hopewell?
hope. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
we didn't really hang out. Like in like grade school, you're kind of in the same class as people, so it's just kind of who you hang out with.
Right.
There's a few people in other classes or whatever, but yeah. So like I knew Jimmy, but I didn't. Like we never ended up hanging out during that year.
I think it probably waited till towards the end of
summer.
of the school year, kind of
Yeah.
started talking. And
Yeah.
then kind of just clicked right at the summertime.
Yeah, like we were both into biking around and stuff like that. And one other guy from that class, his name was Nazem.
Yeah,
Nazem Nazem.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, I remember Nas.
He would also bike around all the time, so
Yeah.
we would all
The only three guys
Hang
in
out.
Ottawa that would ride on bikes. I've made a little clue.
We were
little
close.
biker club
We
of
weren't
some
tied
sort.
to crew or nothing, but I mean,
No,
Oh,
nothing
that's
of
right,
that
too.
caliber. That's for
That's
sure.
fucking funny. I forgot about that. Yeah, we've had a million little isms that have come and gone over the years.
been a few.
It's what 20.
Yeah, yeah.
It's what 20 years will do. So well, that's cool. So you guys were already friends coming into Glebe,
Yeah.
and then of course I came to Glebe. Do you guys remember the first time we met?
Very much so.
Very clear in my mind.
Yeah.
Do I see Josh Williams walking in?
It was
Oh, yeah? I don't even
drama
remember what I
class.
looked like. What was I wearing?
It was drama class.
Well, it was homeroom.
you were
but-
wearing. I
Oh,
can
you
tell
remember
you right
this?
now,
Like a meet cute story?
Yeah, you had. If I'm going
Aw.
to use color, like on the color band here, your pants were almost a peach color.
Yeah, I remember that. It was
Like,
the subject of a lot of arguments.
yeah.
It was an. It
They're
must have
fucking
been,
orange. They're faded orange.
Sure, they were peach.
It's like a
or
one-man
like
podcast logo.
an accidental. You know, like
Bleach deposit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of those scenarios.
Like, Mom, what did you do to my red shirt? It's pink now.
So anyway, we're sitting in homeroom class. There's happened to be also our drama class with Ruland. Rouleau. That's
Mr.
it.
Brent
yeah.
Rouleau.
Yeah,
That's it.
the guy adjusts his hair
With the
his-
hair flick.
Yeah.
Oh, good
Yeah, that's him.
lord.
He's a
Anyway,
listener to the podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
some people will remember him. if you
I've
like
heard some
people
other
from-
stories about him that apparently he was a pretty solid dude outside of school.
I heard he was a little bit crazy at the hockey.
Yeah.
He was a hockey coach.
Yeah, those are the
A
guys
bit
who ended up-
nutty.
Yeah, he's different. Anyways,
Whatever.
pulling away from that. Story.
Whatever
He
it is.
crushes
So yeah,
mad
so
puss, though. I've seen him with like chicks.
Yeah,
Well, that's what the
I'm
stories
saying.
are,
That's
yeah.
what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
heard some stories about him that he's pretty right on it.
Well, he's obviously very comfortable with himself.
Get
Were you guys there when we
down.
had to go see him do a play in his underwear or something like that? You could see his ass the whole time.
No.
All right, never mind the story from that time.
Was it a
True
dream
story.
or was
No,
it?
it was grade 10. There was,
Were you
Was
like
it
the
a-
only one there?
In his bedroom?
yeah.
Where you looked around the audience?
Yeah,
it was just
I
you?
thought it was
Oh.
incredibly exclusive.
I'm gonna show
showing
you
of
the
his
rough
play.
cut.
You guys don't even understand.
I don't have my
It was
costume
like
yet.
The whole troop. It was in grade 10, so I thought maybe we were all still in the same drama class.
We just
then,
got
but they
that
took
much
us.
closer.
They took us
grade
to
10.
another place, like another school
We
or
didn't.
theater.
He did.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys
Didn't
dropped it
even
after grade
We
9?
we were
Yep.
done after our play. We were done.
Yeah,
We'll get to
you guys
that.
fucking hung it up, and I'm like,
Forgot
no,
about the
let's
play.
keep
We'll
going.
get to that. The good old days.
Yeah.
So well, yeah, we went to
The
another school
band.
to watch this guy. We'll get to it, god damn it. So we went to another school and they had like this showing. I think it was like Much Ado About Nothing or whatever it was. But the entire cast was wearing these like black leotards that were completely see-through. So you could see everyone's ass. And I don't mean like sort of. I mean like everyone may as well not. Like they're wearing those jockey underwear with the fucking just straps in the ass, right? That's what it looked like. But it was Mr. Rouleau and all the males in the
that's
cast.
just awkward.
And for some reason, none of the women's pants you could see
teacher
through. So for some
grade.
reason, the guys'
Just the
ass were
boys.
just
Just the boys.
yeah. I'm scarred.
Good lord.
But anyways, we were in drama class. You guys were saying.
Yeah, and I remember it was like you had to sit in like a big circle.
Yeah.
I mean, because like different drama teachings or whatever lessons always derive from sitting in a circle and you had to say something to the person next to you and whatever. So I
Was it
remember
drama? Hold on, check that. Was it drama class or was it homeroom?
but it was
You guys
homeroom,
were. It was your homeroom, but that was the first class. Of the
and then
day.
it was the first class. of
But
the
you
day.
weren't there for homeroom.
No.
You
No,
were
because
there
I
for
was
drama.
in the SSU.
Oh,
We didn't get
yes.
into that.
Stupid you. Yeah.
I
So
feel bad about it.
But I remember
Why?
because
I
the
don't-
class had already
It's a
started. So
dick
like,
thing to say.
unfortunately, when you came into the class, all eyes were on you.
Right.
It wasn't just like kind of like you're mingling and like, hey, well, let's just because I think you knew people in the class.
Yeah, like you knew.
I knew
like,
Tasha Ford.
Tasha. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess you kind of came in and you saw her and you felt like, I don't know, instantly comfortable and you could whatever. I don't know what it was that you were thinking. I'll let you fill that part in. But from
I
our
can't remember.
perspective, it was a guy wearing peach pants. And I'm going to say it. I said it upstairs. I'll say it again.
Yeah.
That it was like a 4-month-old mushroom haircut that needed to be cut. Because there's a transition between like, oh, he's growing. Yours just looked like it needed to be cut.
I think every mushroom haircut, when I see it, needs like that needs to go.
Mushrooms are delicious.
Whatever it is. That's the friendship, by the way. Jimmy and I, we talk about something. Mika will contribute a sentence of an opinion.
I eat bugs.
Look at Mika and he goes, I eat bugs.
And I could remember. I don't know if your memory of it is the same. Like I was saying, is that like when you try to think back on something, sometimes you over exaggerate certain parts
Yeah,
of the story.
well,
But-
all the time.
yeah, but in my mind, Josh, and I think you can back me up on this because I think we've said it several times that when you walked up to the circle, you jumped, and in midair, you crossed your legs and landed cross-legged.
on your
Yeah,
ass.
It was the last. That's probably when I developed the hernia. Probably was that move.
Probably started to tear.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something, and ever since.
And
'Cause that was
a
probably
thump.
the last
It was a-
athletic thing you guys have ever seen me
It
do.
must have hurt. Like
Well,
it,
next to your volleyball skills.
there's no.
Oh, we're good. Yeah. I think this interview is supposed to be about you guys and less about me.
No, you asked how we met you.
Oh, that's right.
So
It was just a very gregarious thing for like all of us were sitting
You
there.
get off your
and he just
phone.
walked in.
Dictionary.com. Is that it?
He
I'm
just
bringing
like,
out the big guns.
"Oh,
People are
Siri,
listening. I want
what's
to
a
sound
word?"
smart.
Yeah, so far Micah's in the lead for biggest words. We'll write that down. It's a very gregarious.
So anyway, yeah, like we're all sitting there. It's relatively quiet, and Josh walks in, like jumps. Doesn't jump, maybe.
I swear
more,
he jumped.
More falls and pulls
either
myself.
jump, yeah, either like a very small jump or quickly pulling your legs up.
Is like
and
we're just-
doing a cross-legged in midair.
Yeah, it's like
and then
retracting the
falling on your
landing
ass.
gear and then the
Yeah,
plane
yeah,
falls
yeah,
and hits the
exactly.
ground.
That's-
Yeah, that's it.
You definitely
Exactly.
didn't
Plane
do
doesn't
the
jump.
arm-
You just pull it
the
up and it
arm
smashes
keep.
down.
Yeah, exactly. So it was just a heavy landing, and everybody
you
kind of looked at
literally-
each other like, "What the heck?"
You came down with a thump. Like it was like a, because the floor was like a wood plywood thing. So like when you ran around it, it made like a lot of noise. So when you landed on it, it like, I don't want to say the word echoed, but
That's
it
what
kind of
it
echoed.
To
revererated.
me, now that I think about it in retrospect,
Put yourself down on
Another
a big.
big
No, I
word
think
there.
gregarious beats reverberated.
Fair enough.
what about
All
retrospect?
right, write us in, guys. Contact the One Man Podcast. You can let
Check,
us know.
check.
I'm joking.
Now in retrospect, that should have been fair warning of what we were getting into if we were to become a friend of yours.
Yeah,
Big thumps.
I'm going to be constantly doing ridiculous cross-legged motions
Well,
with reverberations.
Just not being worried about what the fuck people think.
I'm constantly worried about what people think.
Well-
I just bullshit that I don't care.
I think now you are.
Oh, I've
I don't
always
know.
I've always
Anyway.
given a shit. I posture like a motherfucker.
But yeah, and then
Quite
I think
the
you like
posture.
jumped in with like, "Hey guys," you know, like you were just so like, I'm gonna make fun of everything and everyone that I see. This is how I'm gonna make my friends. I'm going to,
There's maybe like a defense thing. one of those
yeah,
Oh,
I'm
well,
going
yeah.
to win your hearts by destroying you and bringing you down first. Like that's what it sounds like.
I think though at that age you're almost like you got to constantly be on the defensive because like high school.
Oh,
there's
so
many
vulnerable.
people. There's so many people who are like, I would never do high school again. I'm like, oh,
I totally
bring
would.
it on with the shit I know now. Bring it on.
Oh, if you're allowed to know what you know now.
But
yeah,
here's a
But I don't
question,
even mean
though.
skills. I just mean like just the social interaction skills. I
Okay,
don't give a
but-
fuck about all the other knowledge.
You
Just
know how everybody always says, if you could do it
Well-
again, would you do it again? But I'm
would.
asking, if you could do it again, would you do it again without the knowledge you have now?
I don't know.
Basically, the same experiences.
I just think
without the
without the knowledge I have now, I think it would just be exactly the same. So I don't need to do it again. That would be my answer.
I don't understand
Yeah.
the question.
Do you eat bugs?
Yeah, like it's basically if you could do it again without what you know now, would you? And my thoughts
Meaning,
would be
did you
no.
enjoy your high school experience? Like, you know, would you do it again, knowing the outcome from it? Would you do it again?
Pretty happy with where I'm at.
Yeah, I don't.
All that fucking schooling.
I'd love to try again with what I know
That's
now.
what I like about high school girls. man.
Matthew McConaughey, pedophile. What was I going to say? Yeah, I can keep getting a call from Belleville. If they could just fuck right off, that'd be great. What was I going to say? I apologize for the little lull here, guys.
Lol.
We weren't friends right away. The first fucking year of
Absolutely
high school,
not. We were friends. I can tell you right now, Meek and I conspired to beat the shit out of you.
Yep. Agreed.
That's what happens. Agreed.
We just didn't like. I mean, you
Or
sounded.
confirmed.
Yeah, confirmed.
More, but that's better.
We just didn't. We didn't like the way you were going about things
Well, I apologize.
with people, and you know, you'd make fun of people. I don't actually remember you making fun of either one of us, though.
Schnitzelwink.
Mika Schnitzelwink.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Well,
But I mean, that's not like,
that's not making.
that's not
That's
making
not
fun.
That's
That's
not
not-
It
us
was. It
beating
was.
hey,
worthy.
Mika, you have a
It
big
did.
dumb face and I want to punch it. That's not that.
No, I just thought.
But you didn't go violence. You were always with your words. Always from the day we met you, you've always been witty. You've always been wordy, and you've always been, you know,
A
let's sit,
wordsmith of
let's
sorts.
talk about it, and let me break down what you thought you knew, and explain to you what it is that you now know.
Yeah, I think I'm good at disarming situations. Like at the end of the day, if someone,
What I say by that, I mean like if you get into, I'm past days of when you got into an argument with you, or sorry, a discussion with you.
no, whatever.
It was always about what we thought we knew, and you would explain of what the actual truth was.
Oh, really?
And it was like, and it was frustrating So it ended up being that, okay, listen, this guy needs to get his ass kicked.
Yeah, one way or another, I think we were kind of fed up with you, but like eventually, I think in drama class, we ended up getting paired up with you.
It was English class with the lady with the
Oh, Miss
That's-
McCartney.
Miss McCartney. That's where the game changer happened.
That was great.
Because yes, you're right. We got paired up, and we ended up getting paired up with Josh.
Not in English class though. This is in drama, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we were
The end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
And
all
we-
did we learn?
so we were paired up.
Yeah, we got paired up. And that's when we were kind of on his side of hearing things, not
Right. I think we were
Like, not
past
part of
like
it, yeah.
I'm gonna let's schedule a date
Yeah.
to meet up at the.
But
monkey
anyways,
bars.
Here's like the first of many. Like I said, probably even the first. There's so many people over the years like, dude, I wanted to kick your fucking ass. And I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm like, I believe
I've
it.
heard
But
this
I,
before.
I remember
Yeah, probably.
the game changer ended up being over to English class with Miss McCartney, and she had a very, I mean, like obviously it's hard to describe to people,
She's a
but
big fluffy head. Her
Solid-
head
She
looked like
had-
brown cotton candy on it.
Solid
okay,
cloth.
yeah, but you interrupted her in class and you said, "Excuse me, ma'am, but you have a raccoon on your head." it caught us so off guard that it was like, yeah, okay, fuck, this guy's funny. He's funny.
I recall Josh turning around to us and first saying, when you turn around, you look at somebody, or you're like, whatever you're gonna say. But he goes to us, he goes, lady, don't move. You have a raccoon on your
Yeah, I
head.
remember that.
yeah.
And wasn't I
Yeah,
walking
there.
into the class at
Yeah.
that moment or whatever? So
Yeah.
it's like I think I was
Might have
late.
been
This is
that.
I
like
think you got kicked out right off the bat.
this is like- oh, probably.
I don't-
I would have lost so much respect for her if she hadn't kicked me
And
out.
get out. Okay.
She's like, and get out. I'm like, and that's how you do it, guys. See you
It's a
later.
solid move. It was a respectable move
but
in
yeah,
high school.
absolutely.
Oh, fuck.
But at the same time, it was like our French teacher, Monsieur.
Mr. Williams. He kept
Was it
sending
Mr.
me.
Williams?
Yeah, because he would send me to the office. and
You
he
would
would write,
literally
he would
walk
write,
in the room,
Mr.
Josh,
Williams.
get out.
Yeah, but he would write when he sent me to the principal's office. He would write with the note, blah blah blah. Brian Williams, no relation. Like he wanted to distance himself from me. I remember
Jeez,
every time, no relation. He was a cock.
dick.
Yeah, but I don't know.
He was
Miss
funny.
McCartney was outstanding though. Her and I got along great.
She was pretty funny. She was a good sport at the end of it.
Oh, later
yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
That was a solid move. So anyway, like that turned the page for us. So we started kind of
It
listening.
was like,
to
we'll give him a
more.
chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was the best decision you guys ever made.
Was it? Was it?
Still debating that.
Hey, you fucking assholes! Like an abusive relationship. You keep coming back for more. But
I
yeah.
love
Well, at the end of the year,
I just love him.
So huggable.
he's gonna change. He promised he'd stop drinking. At the end of the year, we got paired up in.
What
a,
are you drinking?
What right now? I don't know. Jay made it for me when I got home.
Are you still drinking alcohol?
Got an ice cube in it.
Yeah, there's some booze in it. It's like ginger beer and something. I think vodka. He basically made like a Moscow Mule without like some of the flavoring shit in it. So it's basically just vodka and ginger
I love how
beer.
you say that. Meek and I both look at each other like,
I
what?
think I went cross-eyed for a second there.
A Moscow Mule?
Sounds rented
They're
and
those
used.
pretentious drinks that they're always serving at like copper cups
Does
in
it stink?
bars.
No, we're not that high. We're not bougie.
It vodka and ginger for all intents and purposes. But what I was getting at was that we started we got put in a project together at the end of the year. So at the end of the fucking year,
But that's like right around the whole time that everything was happening. And that's why, like, okay, we're
change,
we're
you mean?
cool to work with this guy because we've seen his material. He's good.
yeah, I can work with this guy. I think he's going to bring a lot to the table. Well, we started hanging out because we had like a week or something to work on the project,
Yeah.
and so we
I think it was a
started.
decent amount
I
of
think-
time.
Yeah,
but
we started hanging out on the weekends to
Yeah.
like work on this
It was
project.
Yeah,
basically
yeah.
right around the same time that they were teaching us the Laban movements.
Yeah.
No, they were teaching. That was the whole year stuff. We had
The
everything.
only one that stuck.
It's just the funniest line. But we ended up hanging out, and instead of doing our project, we would just play Manhunt in the neighborhood because there was like 5 of us. It was Jimmy, Micah, Chris, who writes in all the time about the board games. Chris was
Chris.
part of that group as well.
Hi, Chris.
Our friend Jason Law, and I think our friend Tasha Ford. I think it was like the 5 of us. We all worked on that project.
Sean Sove used to join us.
He used to join us, but he was not in our class.
Oh no, yeah.
So he wasn't part of the project.
He played Manhunt though.
Right. So there's 5 guys, and then Tasha. There was 6 of us on that project.
Yeah.
So the idea was the point that we were all together on the weekends was to do this project, and instead we ended up doing. I fucking saw you. Jimmy's over here making faces and stuff. Stop it! You make a face and make me laugh, you guys.
Talking about Sean Silve.
Oh, really? Well, what's the story?
No, we played Manhunt, and Sean was always like, "Well, can we play something else and let's go play video games?" Okay, like it was, I don't know. Yeah, Sean was around. He was a cool guy, just not.
I hung out with him like a few years ago.
And I remember times you guys almost fucking went at each other too.
Oh yeah,
Elevator
I grabbed him
ride.
once.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, remember we were in the elevator.
No, I don't.
Going upstairs to your apartment.
I'm not saying it didn't
grabbed
happen.
him by
I
the
just don't remember.
throat because you guys would joke about my little sister, and
Oh, really?
you guys knew that bothered me, and then Sean tried to tag in on that.
Oh,
and he made a joke about my little sister. I'm just like, I grabbed him by the throat that one time in the elevator, and you were like, yeah, Micah, get him,
really?
like take him out.
Oh, I'm such
I
an
forget what you
asshole.
said. And I'm pretty sure that was the falling out of like why Sean was like, "What the fuck, Josh? Why didn't you back me up?" Because you guys used to hang out all the time. Anyway, I don't know anything about that. But.
No. I mean, him and I were still hung out afterwards, but I think like I don't think he moved, but he just. That's the thing with high school too. Is like in the beginning, everyone's just sort of mixed in together, and then everyone sort of finds their stride or their group or whatever it is, and I think that
Their acceptance.
maybe. But all I know is that at the time, we spent a lot more time fucking around and playing games than we did working
That's
on
when
that
you also
project.
shoved a rawhide down his butt.
Anyway, Sean's a framer now, and the last time I talked to him, he just finished doing what do you call it?
Building.
Carpentry, whatever at Algonquin.
It's like house building.
No, I don't think it's house.
Well, they have
building.
a lot of different options. Anyways, but yeah. He
framing might be framing.
I'm sure he's
whatever.
a much different guy now than
Yeah.
what he was.
Oh, I mean, we all are.
He's a sweet
We all
guy,
are.
sweetheart.
Well, I'm the same. I don't know about you guys.
I'm yeah, you know what? We the more we change, the more we stay the same. Anyways, regardless, I'm trying to get past this
if that
goddamn
makes
story, push this podcast forward. And the point is that we all hung out. Now we're not doing things in class and stupid little jokes at teachers. We're just hanging out and being dudes and stuff like that. And I think we ended up doing our project. And on the last day that we had, we were all supposed to meet up. And I'm like, are we going to get anything done? Or are we just going to play? And I think you guys are like, come on over here. We're working on it. And I was like, you know what? You guys have a good time and I'll write this thing in
That's
a day.
true. You
That's
killed
I'm like,
that.
I'm going to,
Yep.
I don't know
Yeah.
if I killed it, but I definitely whipped something out.
You got us like a.
Oh,
I think it
you
was a
whipped something
B.
out, all right. You're whipping it out right now.
Okay.
Prove it.
No, sorry. My fucking wrist keeps going off here with messages and stuff.
How about you take it off so we can concentrate on us having your friends here? I
Yeah,
think that'd
well,
be a
listen,
nicer
you guys
thing.
are very, very special. to
Micah,
me,
how you
I'll
doing,
tell
buddy?
I'm feeling neglected actually. At the
I
moment.
too.
Just only at the moment though.
Oh, eye contact. Hey, you're back.
Yeah, sorry. So anyways, whatever. I wrote a fucking, what do you call it? A play.
Yeah.
A project in an afternoon. It was goofy. We had a bunch of like Beach Boys music in it. We had to incorporate all sorts
Pulling
of
the
different
boxes together, and we made like a van, and like we were like on our way
Straight
to
up,
college
dude.
and all that stuff. It was pretty cool. I had a good time doing it.
Yeah.
As far as I remember, I was Casper. You were,
I don't know, Brad, I think.
I think, Brad, and
I have no
I think
idea.
it was like John or something. But
Something like
the
that.
idea was like
Anyways, yeah, no, it came
it was a
together.
project about like here you take all the things from Jarama that we learned over the years. So like Laban was one type of
movement.
yeah. Well, there was
Specific
movements.
movements.
Yeah,
movements
yeah,
like
yeah.
twist and jitter and flow and all
Okay.
these things. And I had written everything from the
There's like
year.
8 of them.
Yeah, but
Something
I'd
like
written 8 of them I'd written the entire thing that we learned all school year into the play, except for Laban.
You had to do an
This
example.
was-
That's what it was. Yeah,
Yes,
you
we had to
had
give
do
an example of everything we learned.
Okay, so I think we should set the scene for people so they can understand
Sure.
the comedy of this.
Jimmy's character named Casper, and the reason we named you Casper was because we watched the movie Kids and
Yeah.
you loved the name.
I think it was great.
Yeah.
Not
So-
the friendly ghost, but I'm still friendly.
Yeah, that was one of the lines. My name's Casper.
Motherfucking Casper.
Yeah. So we basically Jimmy's character at one point in this play was in a hospital. We were all visiting him, and his character died. So in order to do these like floating and twisting and thing, Laban.
Okay, hold on
I
a
wrote it in
second,
that we
hold
would
on.
go around his bed.
There was
Dancing
2
around to show
boxes
it.
set up that it was like a bed. I had like a sheet put over me to like represent that I had passed away, and literally
the
it was
wood
just
boxes.
a spotlight
On Jimmy's
on
character, yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And you guys were surrounding me doing Laban.
We were like we were
movements.
walking
with
around
our
you in a
hands.
circle like a cultist fucking thing.
Our hands were in the light, like over him.
Yeah, and then we would twist and stuff, and like, but we weren't doing really good Laban. We were sort of like dancing
I
around
knew.
him, and so I was like, I remember just in case it was lost on the teacher
Fucking
what we were trying to do,
Rulo.
I'm like, ooh, Le band. Just
Don't forget.
try to get the marks. And I
Yeah.
think he probably just sat there and shook his fucking head like these idiots. Don't
Check the
supposed to be
fucking
dead.
paper, Rulo. Check
Yeah.
the box.
Yeah,
We did
check,
Le band.
yeah, check the box.
I'm
That's
pretty
me
sure
see
the
it.
dead guy's not supposed to be bursting out laughing.
Oh yeah, he was laughing.
He just moved. He's not dead.
Le band.
Man, yeah, God.
So-
that was. I think that exactly right there was the beginning of where we went with our friendships.
Well, because
is that
we had so
Solidified
much
things for
fun.
sure.
Well, we
Yeah.
had so much
Yeah.
fun getting together for the weekends,
Yeah.
working on this, and then again playing games and manhunt and fucking around. That we were just like, so what are you guys doing this weekend? Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's hard to say what happened next, but since then we've been friends. You know, even through
I
high
think-
school and everything like that.
Also, like it kind of gave I got to see like a big experience between yourself and your mom that I had never seen between a
I
son
know
and a
where you're
mother
going with
before.
that one.
like during that, so we had just started hanging out with Josh and going over to his place, and we mostly went
Catholic,
over.
right? So I was very proper in that house.
We mostly went, yeah. Well, we mostly went over to
Sure.
Josh's
That's full of
place
shit.
because Josh's mom was super cool with us and having us over.
I just want to
So,
say, yeah, your mom is awesome.
about having us
She's
over.
been awesome throughout the
And-
years.
yeah.
She's great.
Yeah. So anyway, one of the first times that we ended up meeting Paula, what was I going to say? I think we were on the balcony, and Josh's mom came home, and Josh hadn't done something like maybe wash the dishes or something like that, chores, whatever.
Yeah.
She came out on the balcony and was, like getting pissed off at him or whatever, and she called him a cocksucker. And Jimmy and I stop and look at each other. Like,
I don't know about
"Dude, should we
everybody else.
leave?"
Should we leave?
Oh yeah, I don't know about everybody else, but in
intense.
our households, if my mom ever called me a cocksucker, like I'm about to get kicked out.
I broke the car or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, like I don't know. So
To
anyway,
me, I'm like, that's one of her terms.
I
of
stole
endearment.
the car. Or something.
later we learned that this is common. Like this isn't. It was more of almost a term of endearment than anything. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how you would even say that or explain that, but
It's not even a
that's
term. She's just very frivolous with her cussings.
yeah.
Oh yes.
But the retort was just as good with "Excuse me, Madame Caboose." From Josh, we were just like,
Oh my
that's
God.
what we knew. That it was like, okay,
I remember.
it's not
I
that
remember.
bad.
I remember Mika and I looking at each other, going like, I don't know if we should hang out here.
I feel
anymore,
like we
man.
should
This
leave.
is- yeah, we should leave. Like this
Should
is
leave.
shit's gonna go.
You can't
down.
call your kid that. You can't respond to your mother like that.
Oh yeah, like shit's gonna go.
I'm like,
down.
no, watch me. It's easy, guys. Here, just try it. Yeah, well, I mean, like
So that's
that's
when we knew,
how I
like-
was raised. Was my mom used to always be like, I'm not going to tell them to not use words that I use myself. So I was like, growing up, that made sense to me. I'm like, oh, that's fair. So-
It also, like, just to give context anyway, like that was also another turning point where we were like, okay, we're just, we don't need to censor ourselves over here, and we didn't have to. And your mom was super cool
I think
with
it took
us swearing.
It did take us a
talking
few
about whatever
months
the
to
fuck.
like warm up to the idea that we could like say fuck or shit in front of her.
Yeah, it did take a while because it was weird breaking
You'd always
that
do like
barrier
that
between your
over the
parents.
shoulder look, like, oh fuck, and then kind of like look over your
Yeah.
shoulder and be like, is she mad? No.
Yeah.
Right. No, we're here. We're good. Okay. We're comfortable. We can do what we want. It's fine.
Yeah. So anyway, we ended up hanging out a bunch of times. Like we used to always go over to your place to like hang out and
Drink
Come-
underage.
Absolutely.
start the night off there and go from there. You know what I
Well,
mean?
it's funny because my mom's position used to be like, I don't know. Apparently, she's got a very unpopular, I guess, way of doing things, but they always made sense to me, probably because they worked out in my benefit. But in the sense that my mom used to always be like, look, if you guys are going to drink underage, which most kids do, if I met someone who's like, no, I never drank until it was legal, I'd be like, we'll go back to fucking Utah.
yeah.
I wouldn't believe it. I would think someone was full of shit. They're a Mormon or Amish or something like that. So my mom was always like, look, if you guys are going to drink, if I say you can't drink here in Flows, you guys are just going to go out and do it on the streets in a park or something.
Exactly.
So yeah,
Especially when you're like 14 years old going over to Hull and getting into
that's
bars.
almost
Like,
too
it's-
old to get into bars in Hull.
Yeah.
But
Seriously.
the idea was, she would just say, look, if you guys are going to drink, do it here. That way, if something happens, you get drunk, I'm here. There's someone who can take care of you and,
Exactly.
and monitor or whatever. And I always thought
Which is awesome.
that's a pretty reasonable way of looking at it, because it is true. You tell kids not to do something, they're just going to go do it somewhere else. And when they're doing it outside in the park or something, that's where shit can happen.
Exactly.
So I always thought that was kind of cool. We all took full advantage of that. I don't think either of your parents listen to this podcast, so they'll never know that's what we were doing
So,
at that age.
I remember one time you had got a bartending book and you were
I was gonna get into
telling
this.
me over the phone like the ingredients to go and pick up on my way over to your place.
Blue Lagoons.
And it was shit like it was shit that it was like
Blue
pretty
Curacao,
common.
whatever.
Well, the thing that gave it away, like there was stuff that was common, like pop or whatever the fuck.
Right.
But the one thing that gave it away was Angostura bitters.
Yeah, Angostura bitters.
I was like, I don't know what the fuck is this? Like, how do you spell that? And like, I'm at like back in the day,
I got
we
like
had,
a 16, 17-year-old. I'm like,
You
can you
know-
pick up these fucking things?
yeah, like you had a phone on a wire that was in the middle of your living room or whatever.
there's no
So I'm
hiding.
sitting
Yeah.
there on the phone with the pen and paper, and my parents are right there.
Right.
I get off the phone with you, and my parents are like, "So, what do you need Angostura bitters for?" And I didn't know what the fuck it was. So I was like, "Well, I just said the truth." I was like, "Josh just got a booze book, and he wants to try and make a bunch of mixed drinks."
I remember
What,
you.
over
what
there.
did they say?
They were like, I think they were taken aback, like they were expecting a lie.
Right, you just
So
laid
they
it
were
out for them?
Yeah, they just wanted to like catch me in it.
Yeah. They're like,
You
look,
used
and they're
to
like,
test
well, what do we
drinks,
do when
though.
we tell them?
Yeah, I'd have a spare in high school, and you'd be like, "Well, fuck, come on over." And I'd show up, and you're like, "Oh, I'm making all these drinks. You want to try them?" Yeah, sure, whatever. Totally forgetting that I have to go back to school to Pooter's class, and I'd show up to class, and I'd be like 3 sheets to the wind, just like, "Fuck, I shouldn't be doing this." Josh, what are you doing tomorrow?
DePooter's the right teacher, though, to be stuck in that situation.
He used to sit there. He'd look at me and be like, "Go sit at the back of the class." Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I'll
well,
pass you
I
if
don't
you
know.
sit back there and be quiet.
I remember it was fun. I just had it was fun drinking and making booze and stuff like that. Because it was also unique. Not a lot of high school kids were doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
definitely
awesome.
not.
But we had lots of fucking goofy little things like that. Like, again, we had a friend Demel, because we all dabbled in pot in high school. As
What?
is
Not me. No.
Yeah. Which is when most people do it.
What was DeMel's situation? Like, why did he have an apartment?
I don't know. We had a friend named Aaron Demel, and he used to have like it was like a boarding house where he had a room in it, and then he had like his own fridge or a locked up fridge area downstairs.
Yeah.
So I truthfully I can't tell you what his circumstance was, but we had a friend who effectively before any of us had his own place. So now there's like no parents or whatever. He's got his own place, but it was like a bed, a TV, and that's it. And then
It was a shithole, but it was his own shithole.
It was a communal. Yeah, there was
Place
like
to go.
It was.
yeah, there's a communal
And do
bathroom.
Whatever.
Doesn't matter.
But that's what it'd be, right? It'd be like 4 guys sitting on his bed playing Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
Basically a bedroom.
Yeah, it was a lockable
And-
bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One
there
window.
was a lot of substances that ended up passing through that place as well, as far as I remember.
Passing through
Well,
grades.
all I know is we smoked pot. I remember there was one night
Ton of pot.
where Jimmy and I were smoking pot, and we stood in the bathroom
Oh, the mirror.
to get basically. We stood in the. Okay, let's put it this way.
the
We got high.
legendary mirror.
Yeah,
Man,
the bathroom mirror.
We thought we were there for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, we were apparently in the bathroom for 45 minutes just making faces in the mirror.
That's when
That
we were
sounds possible.
watching. We were
Sounds fully
watching.
possible.
Whose Line Is It Anyways? And it was
Yeah.
Ryan Stiles that was on there. It was just we were captivated by his like facial expressions and everything.
Yeah.
And apparently, I did one that was similar. I think we were very high, so
So high.
it wasn't really similar at all. But he thinks it was. So I was like, fuck it, just carry on to it. So I used to do the facial expressions, and then he did a monkey face, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
So we were just going back and forth. And I'm fairly certain we were there for, let's say, 40 minutes. 20 minutes was my style of face, and 20 minutes was yours.
Yeah.
And we came
I
out
was just
like,
dying laughing.
and like literally in stitches. Like I couldn't breathe. It
Yeah.
was great.
And we came back in the room. Everyone's like, "Oh, we thought you guys left." No, we've been 5 feet away in the bathroom making faces like fucking idiots.
Fuck, it was a good time. I mean, that extended past. I mean, we had a lot of adventures. A lot of what we did is we'd smoke a couple joints or something like that, and then we'd go out into the world and just see what
Yeah.
troubles we could find ourselves
Exactly.
into.
Well, I remember that there was one There was one time, I don't know what you guys think of this story, but I still hold it up to pretty high. I remember there was one night we went out for a walk, and we walked from like Centertown in Ottawa, where my mom lived. We walked all the way down to
I think I know where this is going.
to like Parliament.
Yeah.
And then we crossed the bridge over into the Quebec side, all on foot because we're kids, we have no money.
And you were full of calories and everything, so we got energy for days.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like the
Piss and
peak
vinegar.
fucking yeah. So we just walked, looked for something to do, shooting the shit, whatever. And I think we crossed over the bridge in the Quebec side. We're right on the other side of this
The
bridge.
Alexandria Bridge.
Is that what it's called?
I'm pretty sure that's
The
what
big
it's called.
steel one, yeah.
The big steely. Right by
Well,
the
because on the other side of
NEC.
that is the
No, not the NEC, the Art Gallery.
Art
Art
gallery.
gallery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it the Nature Museum or the Art Gallery?
Who cares?
On the,
Okay,
it's
fair.
Ontario.
Nobody gives a fuck.
Ontario side is the Art Gallery, and then across.
Oh right, yeah. I'm talking about the Quebec side. I think it's like the
Museum of
History.
It does matter.
Civilization.
It
Civ-
does matter
Yeah,
because that's where it comes
civilization.
over. Yeah, yeah.
It's changed now, though. I don't know. Anyways, at the time, it was
Yeah.
civilization.
So we go over. There's this museum, but you sort of cut around to the left. You go under the bridge we just crossed, and now there's sort of like a little
Basically,
marina
in
there,
hobo land.
dock area.
You cross hobo land.
Yeah, it is full on hobo land underneath the
Is it really?
bridge.
Oh,
well,
dude, there was like tent things and stuff. That nobody was there at the time
Oh, I didn't
that
see
we
shit.
saw.
I never saw anybody. I
But
didn't
there
see any
was,
tents
like-
either, but
There, no, I
was-
remember going
could
around.
have
There was
been.
like a little tent that was on the side. I remember making a comment of it, being like, "Fuck, like there's fucking hobos down here." Like,
pitch black.
let's just
Oh,
keep
I didn't
going.
see
Either way,
anything. We walked
very dark.
underneath the bridge and then to the other side. So on the other side of the bridge was like a big docking area with lots of little boats or whatever. And then at the end of the dock, there was sort of like a, what do they call it? A cul-de-sac-ish sort of dock where on either side of it was giant, these big yacht boats.
We head
Yeah,
there.
like the tour boats or whatever.
The reason why we ended up going there was because Meek and I looked at each other, and we're like, "Oh my god, we had our grade 8 graduation on those boats."
on one of those boats.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So that's why we ended up going down to those boats, and we were like,
We went down there because
There's
we were like, there
booze
was a
on those
bar.
boats.
Remember, there was a bar on
Yeah.
that boat. Yeah.
Oh, you guys remember that? See, I didn't know that. I just saw
Yeah.
the big boats. And at the end of the dock, guys, there was these two giant, like yacht type, whatever boats. And on one of them,
party boats.
all the lights were on.
Yeah.
And the cleaning crew was on them and everything like that.
Yeah.
The other boat had all the lights off, nobody on it.
Yeah.
So we walked to the edge of
i.e.,
this dock.
The victim.
Right. Yeah. The mark.
Mark. Yeah.
So we walked to the edge of the dock, and I think there was a bench at the end of the dock. Jimmy and I sat down on it, and there was this tiny little drawbridge.
Like
oh yeah,
smooth, like
that's
you gotta,
how I
you
used
gotta
to.
let your listeners know we sat down smooth. Like,
Yeah. Well, it was
like,
funny because
we
there
were
was
aware of
not
our
bringing
surroundings.
attention to ourselves.
Yeah, yeah.
We were smooth.
when I used to tell this story
Play
to
it
people.
casual.
When I used to tell the story to people, I used to say that there was the two yachts described. One is full with the lights on, the other one dark, empty, both bridges down. So
Yep.
both little walkways
Yeah,
to
yeah.
these things down.
Yep.
So it's not like the other one was
Invitations.
inaccessible. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's like, which one do you want? The
Well, Mika was the crafty one.
well, he got on the
to,
boat. I remember this.
No, yeah, but he was a crafty one, and he had said that he would go on and he would check things out.
Oh,
And-
really?
Yeah.
I remember us just walking to the edge of the dock. You and me sat down on the thing, and Mika walked down the bridge, stepped over the little velvet rope or whatever, went onto this thing, and then just sat down on the boat. And in my
Yeah.
head, this is how I remember it. In my head, I was sitting there. Yeah, I'm in my head. I'm thinking like, he's not doing anything.
What's
He's
the
just sitting on it.
transition?
What's the point of being on? Like, I'm just thinking.
I was
this.
making sure nobody's gonna run over and be like, "Hey, get the fuck off the boat."
Yeah.
I'm just going, he's just sitting on it. He's going to get in trouble and he's not even doing anything. And I was about to vocalize that in the second before
What,
I
you were going
spoke.
to yell out? What were you going to say?
I heard
hey,
Jimmy
you're not
yell out.
doing anything?
I was just saying, Mika, what the fuck? You're not doing anything. Get off it. You're going to get in shit. But before I opened my mouth to say anything, the second before, Jimmy goes, Mika, get the mini bar. And then Mika's arms, he's got his arms on the side of the boat sitting down. He just sort of slides down out of view. And I just remember going, holy shit.
Smooth.
Holy
It was
shit.
smooth, like.
And then Jimmy and I are looking at each other like, okay, what the fuck's going to
No,
happen?
because we were looking around. Yeah, and there was like the janitor crew was kind of cleaning, and they were like,
Yeah, they weren't even
leaving
paying
the-
attention.
but
They
They were
probably didn't give
leaving
a
the
fuck.
boat and
No.
stuff like that.
Why would you?
Yeah. So all of a sudden, I think maybe 5 seconds goes by. It
If
wasn't
that.
long at all.
It wasn't long.
And all of a sudden, I just heard this giant snap sound. Just a snap, not a pop or a crack. It was like a snap sound.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, Mika pops up, full fucking. And he's, by the way, we haven't addressed this. Mika, you're what, 6'9"? Tallest human being I
Yeah,
know.
if I get a good rest.
Mika's exceptionally tall. So when he pops up,
It's tall.
it's very tall. Shoots up, goes, what the fuck? And at that moment that he pops up, the alarm on the boat goes off. And,
But I
like,
didn't-
"Woo, woo, woo." And I was
I
like,
didn't pop up where I went down though, right?
no,
It
not at
was
all.
like
You popped down
over-
and you popped up
You
a
went
different area.
You went
Yeah.
down at about 10 or
And you're
12
like,
feet
oh,
down the
fuck,
boat.
you
is
get
when
off the thing.
pop up.
is where I popped
And
up.
you came off the fucking boat so quick, and then we were like speed. The three of us, Jimmy and I got up to, and the three of us are like trying to walk casually, like we didn't do anything. But we're all speed walking, trying not to burst into jogs and everything, so we don't look conspicuous, even though there's nobody else on this dock.
Trying to be smooth.
Classic.
Trying but failing miserably.
Oh, it was horrible. Well, and the thing is that when that alarm went, I mean, we're saying the word alarm, but it was like a bullhorn. Like it was.
It's like a foghorn. Foghorn.
Farther you got, the louder
like a
it was.
Loud boat
My
horn.
God. And then so we took off running, and I mean, they have to understand that underneath this bridge, the ground kind of like rolls, like there's like small hills. Like just minute hills.
Small.
So when you're running on them,
yeah, well, we got to the end of the dock and we
difficult.
burst into
running. So we started running.
Pitch
and
black.
Pitch black.
Pitch black.
Can't
Yeah.
see
But your feet,
all.
you're going up like 2-3 feet and then down 2-3 feet, up 2-3 feet, down 2-3, and like it really takes a toll on your feet. You don't know where you're going. Somebody fell.
Micah.
100% me.
Always Micah.
Oh,
When someone falls,
I remember
I
it very
remember
clearly.
I jumped over somebody,
Me
and
too.
so it was you, and you're like, go on without me.
Just keep going. Just keep going.
Just go. And yeah, we kept on running. We ended up getting to the other side of the bridge, and we're like, okay, fuck, like, are we gonna get in trouble for this? Like,
Well, we got up
didn't
onto
take
the
anything, we didn't
bridge.
do anything.
Yeah, we got up onto the bridge, and it, like Micah was like, "Fuck, is that still it?" It's like, yeah. It was like, okay, so I mean, for any listeners who aren't in Ottawa, and even probably some of the ones in Ottawa, what you have to understand is, it's like two islands and a bridge in the middle. So there's tall buildings, there's tall hotels, tall museums, and the sound is just echoing off of all of them of this alarm. It's just
Yeah.
The
so
further you
loud.
got, the louder it was.
Yeah, and like
it was
if you-
acoustics at its best.
If you look at where the Parliament buildings are, it's right behind those, and those are on like a giant hill, right? So there's like this super steep hill behind the Parliament building,
All solid
down to
rock.
the water, and then across the water. That's where the boats were.
Yeah.
kind
Yeah,
of.
and it's
Like,
echoing off the water, off the
So
the
loud.
hills, everything. It was just fucking hysterical. And that was one of the. And here's the funny thing: Jimmy and I were laughing our asses off because it was so funny. Micah the whole way. That was so stupid. That was so stupid. Why are you so fucking stupid?
we
Like
asked
the
him-
guilt that
we
you
asked
had
him
was so
like,
funny.
why did you pop up so quick or whatever? He's like, it fucking shocked me, man. Like,
Yeah,
like
okay,
electrocuted
so-
my hand.
So what didn't we see, Micah?
So my side, like I climbed over. I don't think it was a velvet rope. It was like one of those metal gate things. So anyway, climbed over that and sit on the bench. And I'm looking around, and that's why I sat down, is to look around and see if anybody would run up and say, "Hey, get the fuck off that boat." Nobody did. So I guess when Jimmy said that, I don't recall, but I had slinked down and I was crawling on the ground of the boat over to the bar, and the bar had this like swingy type door, like both way type swingy doors.
Right, the saloon door kind
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah, one of those deals. So I try and push it open, it wouldn't open. So I reach up and like reach around
For like a latch or something.
try see if there's like one of those little latch deals. And I feel there's something metallic there, and then I must have closed the circuit of whatever alarm was because it shocked me, and that's when I popped up, and that's where everything came from there.
Fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
Oh,
great, good time.
Just instead of standing up looking over, go, what the fuck's in my way?
Yeah,
He just reaches
No,
up.
I'll stay out of
snap.
view.
And that was it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck, that was funny. Well, that was one of our, like, I
time.
remember early on in high school, that was still one of our funniest stories that we used to tell or whatever. And we've had so many more since then. It's like, I remember, I don't even know if I want to, it's not a great story. Just that time that we used to watch, like, I think we would watch, I don't think they were called college humor videos back then. I think they were like, they were not Shane's World's porn, isn't it? Something
Oh,
like that. I
no.
think so.
Oh no.
E-Bombs World.
Yeah, E-Bombs World.
Man,
Like, this
yeah.
is like pre-YouTube,
Yeah.
guys. This is like,
Holy shit.
content or
This
whatever.
is when internet was like starting.
Oh yeah, this is back in the Napster days.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
definitely
This is pre-Morpheus, pre-LimeWire,
Makes
Napster days.
makes you
Yeah.
feel kind of old.
yeah.
Oh wait, speaking of old, you're the oldest, right?
Experience.
Yep,
You're getting
35
old.
today. Thank
Happy
you.
You old fart.
birthday
I would just
to
hope you guys don't ever forget how old I am, how important it is to me to be
Yeah,
this
you're
old.
like 40 years older than I
Are you
am.
35 right now?
Yeah.
Or 36?
35. Fuck you. How old are you? I'm 1 year older than you.
Yeah. I
My
don't
number just went up by one. Yeah, well, I remember we used to watch that stuff. There was gross video. It was YouTube before YouTube, but it was
But like
more,
the dark side of YouTube.
It was
It
it was
was-
great for the most part. Like most of the videos on that website were like guys wiping out on their skateboards.
Yeah, but busting their legs and you could
idiots.
see the bone snapping. That is not cool.
yeah,
That is
that one
nasty.
with the knee.
Yes.
Oh,
because this was before
see?
commenting and stuff too. So you could only all you
know
got from the video was what it was
Commenting-
called. And
Yeah,
that's
but
it.
commenting on the video was literally turning around to your buddies saying, "Oh my god, did you see that?" That
Right.
was the comment that you
But I
used to
mean, you
make.
didn't get to sort of read about it before you watched it. You had
Exactly.
to just look at the title and go, well, what's this about? And there was one video, because it was gross. That was the thing about the internet, was the people, when they posted shit, it was either gross, like a busted bone, or something worse. And I remember there was one video we watched. I did not. I just looked at the picture and went, I can't
Yes,
fucking
you
watch
did.
this. No, I
you
didn't.
started watching it.
I
You were
I turned away
You
right
started
away.
watching
Were you laughing? I thought you were laughing.
No, you guys were all
We were
laughing.
laughing. I was
I
definitely
was
So
laughing.
this video was
I didn't
called.
think she was gonna fucking. Do
Well,
it.
I'll tell it. The girl, it was called "Fucking Stop Already" was the name of this video.
Yep.
And as soon as the video started,
I hope that some of your listeners right now are like, "Oh, I fucking remember that video."
Oh,
like,
I
I
don't know if
fucking
it's that
hope
popular.
so.
So good. People retching in their car right now, just like,
Yeah.
oh, I saw that.
yeah. Well, in case you don't know, this lovely gem of cinema was
Cinema.
it was an Asian lady. I can't tell the age because you never can. No, I'm joking. What a horrible thing to just throw in there.
True story.
There was an Asian lady, and she had a big opaque punch bowl in front of her. And
Very descriptive.
all she
I
did
like
was
it.
because the punch bowls are typically clear. This one was not.
Maybe it was. At
So
one
she
point.
sticks her finger in her mouth and barfs into this bowl. At that point, I turned around in my chair because I was the one at the computer. I turned around in my chair, and I think Sean was there. Chris, I think Talk was there. But and I looked at everyone
Fluid-
else, and they're
fluidy
all
barf.
laughing. And I don't know. I'll tell it the way I remember it, because this is the way I remember the story. I turned around and I just looked at these four guys watching this video, and all I could hear every couple of seconds was splashing sounds. And I thought that was disgusting. And here's the thing though, was I'm watching them and they're all giggling. And I go, I don't fucking
It was
get it.
nervous.
But they were giggling.
It was
they
nervous,
were giggling.
shocked giggles.
And then
Shock laughter.
unanimously at one moment, or simultaneously, whatever the fuck it is, uniformed, all fucking four of you guys all at the same time went, you were like, oh, all of you. And I went, what? And they're like, oh, turn the fuck off. All of you like went from
Oh, it
giggling.
was
I ran
so
to the
gross.
wash. I thought I was gonna vomit.
yeah.
And we turned it off.
Disgusting.
And you guys explained to me that she was regurgitating into the bowl. She would sift through it, find things that I guess were good
Her-
for a second go
Her
around.
important piece of chicken that she
Quite
just
digested that.
Maybe it
piece.
was a cherry.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
so
know.
sorry.
Cherry
if you guys
picking.
Are, don't eat.
Cherry picking.
Cherry
there it
picking.
was. Literal
She was
cherry
picking things out and eating it again. And you guys were laughing
then
at her.
she
And then
lifted
she
the
picked up the
bowl.
bowl and just drank it. And that's when everyone
She put
lost
it to her lips, and I just.
That's.
I
I'm pretty sure
almost-
that's when everybody left.
Oh yeah, Josh is like
That's fucking
retching
gross.
right now.
You're gonna puke right now.
It's
Just
disgusting.
No, it's just
sorry,
gross.
sorry everybody. We don't have to talk about that anymore.
No, it's fine. It was just
It was-
fucking gross.
I just remember that being as one of probably my first like internet shocker to see.
Right.
Like that was like I can't believe this stuff is on the internet. This is
Yeah. And it's been, there's been so many things since then that are fucking disgusting. But we used to just do, like, that was what we would do. We'd get together, hang out, watch stupid stuff.
It was
We're basically
basically-
doing what millennials are doing now. We just did it.
Can I just say, remember on our walks when we were walking around, there was one time that we decided to cross the locks down at the bottom, and we decided to climb that mountain that's on the other side, right?
That was
below
the same
Major's
night as
Hill.
that was the same night as the boat.
That was the same night.
Same night.
same night.
Do you remember that? Okay, so like if you look at that right now, and you're like, how the fuck we just freestyle climbed that
Yes.
shit?
Yeah.
We were fucking. You know why?
we were all
Do you know
talking
And
why?
we were like, I might have been drunk. I don't recall if, anyway, the
I don't-
particulars of the event in question. Anyway,
we were
yeah,
young.
just look at that fucking hill, man.
Oh yeah,
Holy
you're
shit.
indestructible when you're young. So you'll try things like climbing
dangerous.
a vertical wall of jagged rocks,
Rocks.
and you're just like, I could do
So
this.
dangerous.
No.
I remember Josh is very uncomfortable with that.
Yes.
You're just like,
Well,
this,
yeah. 'Cause you know why? Because I roll my ankles all the time. So anytime I need like my ankle strength to be in question, I'm
roll
like,
your
this is,
ankles.
gonna,
That's the
this is going to
Micah
go bad.
ends up bashing his head or skinning his knee
Or falling.
something.
General
something.
injury.
It was always a matter. Every adventure we had, it was either Josh was going to roll an ankle, or he was going to need some cream because we walked too far.
Oh, yeah, the chain.
Yeah, man. I was a pudgy little fucker, and we used to walk. Hey, I never.
Hey,
I
it was
always
hot.
did it.
Shave.
It was hot.
Yeah, it was. They were hot summer nights with me and my boy. Well, you guys know me.
You
I
had some sweaty beans, sir.
sweaty beans. Yeah, that's what happens. You get a fat kid, and the friction burns. Well, fellas, let's go for a big
I don't
long
know.
walk.
They were pretty severe too.
I think
You would show us.
I think
Those are pretty
every
bad.
or most groups of friends have the one guy that gets hurt all the time. I was
Micah.
definitely that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well-
saw a lot of punishment.
I was gonna say
You
that
did.
there was.
and like the most random things too. Like most people
Unfair.
if unfair to you, absolutely, because most people would just ride a bike. They see a curb, they jump the curb, and they continue biking. But you jumped and found the curb,
Well,
and then
it's a
got
test
bucked
of
off your bike, and then
physics.
lost 17 layers of skin somehow. And it's like,
Yeah.
you know what? Come to think about it, we should have traveled with like a first aid kit with you.
Would have been a smart idea. Now, in retrospect, nah.
Yeah, we didn't have the planning skills at that age.
Exactly.
But before we get too far away from that particular period of life, it was funny because when we used to get together, we would drink. And I remember, like, because of the boat thing, like, you would just like, oh, that's so stupid. That's so stupid. You used to carry like a lot of guilt with stuff. You would be up for something, but then you just feel real guilty afterwards. I remember the first time we drank at my mom's place, and we had permission too. We were all drinking like what, 40s because we were kids. So like $5 bought you 40 ounces of malt
were big
liquor.
I remember exactly
we were
what
big
it was.
into rap
Disgusting
videos.
stuff. Yeah.
St. Ides.
St. Ides, Old
And
English.
The only reason why I picked it was because Chris Talk. I remember because I could get either Leanne or Scott to buy us, or maybe it was Bianca to buy us booze. My sister or my siblings, anyway. And Chris was like, "Can you get her to get me a 40 of St. Ides?"
I thought it was
It was
because
a
we were into
great-
hip hop videos.
I think that was grade 9.
Yeah, drinking some 40s.
So anyway, I ended up getting him and myself a 40 of St. Ides, and I remember that was the first booze that I ever bought for myself. Was
How badly do you regret it? at
Chris
this
probably
point?
remembers that.
Well, at the time, it tasted like we knew it all tasted like shit to us. When you're 15,
Davey at a party drank of St. Ides that was full of pee,
Piss.
and he couldn't tell the difference. So what does that say about that?
it's
heard
the
that.
same with me and Budweiser
I think it was-
or Molson.
Like underneath the Bronson Bridge where Dan did the mural of what's his name there, the principal.
I don't know.
Who was the principal at Glee? What's his
Dagenais?
name? Yeah, Dash.
Yeah, Bob.
After he got
Dagenais.
shit.
Yeah,
Rest in peace, Dash.
for sure.
Yeah, man. Well, that's a story we could save for another time, if ever. But the very tragic thing happened to our principal in those days. But we won't bring the podcast because it's actually a very, very sad story. But yes, rest in peace to him.
He influenced a lot of people very well, so we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, he was
He
a
did
good
a
he was a
thing.
good dude, and he died a very tragic death. So you can Google Dagenais Ottawa death, and I'm sure it'll come up if that's that interesting of you, to you, I should say. But I just remember we were drinking the fucking malt liquor or whatever, and like my mom came home, and she's like, "Oh, what are you guys doing? You having a good time?"
Sipping.
And I go, Mom,
I
look
was
at
scared.
Micah. I
I
go,
was
Mom,
scared.
look at Micah, because you were drunk. And
Yeah.
you're like, I'm not drunk. I'm not drunk. I'm not drunk. I'm not drunk.
I was when your mom came in, like I was worried because that was the first bottle of booze that I ever bought for myself. So I was like trying to hide it under the table. Anyway,
I'm not drunk. That's just all I remember. I'm not drunk. Mom, look at Mika. I'm not drunk. She would ask you something, be like, "You guys hungry?"
I'm pretty
and you're just
sure-
staring at the table, and she'd be like, "Mika," you're like, "I'm not drunk."
If I could remember, she was also
remember
laughing the entire time that she was asking these questions too,
Classic.
because she knew. She
that's
knew.
what- there you go. We were, I don't know, another perfect example of like just a solid event of why we went over there and hung out so much.
Hungover too. Yes.
Hung over there.
You're
Oh, it
also
was
correct
fun.
with that.
I don't think any of us got so drunk that we were barfing or anything like that. I remember.
Rue's place.
Not in your house. Oh,
Oh.
Ruse. Oh,
We decided to play. This is.
Classic.
I'll just throw this in because we're talking about.
Yeah, by all
getting
means.
drinks, whatever.
I don't
but
think I was part of the
we.
story.
It was a mixed
I don't
night,
know.
so you're mixing weed and you're mixing drinking. Everybody knows that's a bad idea. And we were over at Rue's place, and I remember we were playing the drinking game, but all we had to drink was like orange juice
Vodka,
and
orange
vodka.
juice, yeah.
And like I remember it was like sip every minute. You gotta take a sip every minute.
Oh,
And you
wasn't it
gotta
a
do that.
shot? I think you guys.
It was basically
For
a
whatever
shot.
reason, you had to drink at a fairly rapid
Is
pace.
it
Yeah.
like 100
It was a drinking game.
sips, 100 minutes, or something like that?
something
Yeah.
stupid.
But when I looked at my glass, I was having literally like a sip every minute.
Right.
But I looked across the table at Mika's, and he was drinking like almost like I'd say a glass every minute. You know, like
I don't know
not
what it was.
it wasn't maybe necessarily, but you were drinking a lot.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, at the same time, he was eating macaroni and cheese.
Oh God.
We made it at Rue's place. We got there and we're like, "You got any food?" He's like, "Macaroni and
Mac and
cheese."
cheese. Well, sure, why not?
Sweet.
He's
Eat
like, I
that,
have some
play
peasant
drinking.
food for you guys.
Well, I mean, I'll tell it how I remember it. Maybe it's a little different, but I remember Mika feeling at one point that okay, game's done. I'm going to go puke. And
Game's over.
Rue is
Game's
all
over,
like,
stands up and
oh
declares,
that's pretty much exactly how it went.
"Game's over, guys. I'm done."
He white flagged it, and he's like, I gotta go puke. And Rue was like, don't puke in the, and then blah, everywhere. And then
we're downstairs.
Downstairs. It's like a walkout to the backyard.
Yeah.
So like you just walk straight out, backyard, whatever. And so he's like, man, you gotta clean that up. And he's like, oh man, like how are we gonna, like what am I gonna do? So he ended up giving him 2 planks of wood in a bag. And was like, here,
The fuck am I supposed to
clean
do this?
it. Because like,
Clean what? The
His
yard with wood.
no,
A
his
pile
puke.
of macaroni and cheese on his back porch.
That
Gave you
Micah-
like a 2x4 and said, "Puss."
He had 2 planks of wood. It's
clean
like a
that
1x6 and 1x6, and Mika's
He's
sitting there
pissed.
like drunk. Like Mika's hammered. So you gotta picture he's waving back and forth, and he's trying to scoop it onto the one plank onto the next plank, and then dump it in the bag and
It's
whatever.
like trying to pick up rice with chopsticks.
Pretty
kind
much.
Of thing.
And then
You're scrape like mashing it into the like
oh
interlock.
yeah, just it wasn't working out well. Then not only did Mika leave a whole bunch behind, but he put it into the bag and tied the bag shut. And then he's like, "Well, what the fuck am I gonna do with it now?" Rue's like, "Well, fucking, I don't know,
Get rid of it."
Get rid of it." So
Get a
Mika
bush
literally
behind.
swings it above his head.
That's what I envisioned before he even told the story. I'm like,
Swings above his head, launches it into the backyard. The backyard was full of trees, and it smokes a branch,
oh, it just
flips upside
explodes
down,
everywhere.
and drips down all over the
Like the
branches.
worst
It's
fireworks.
hanging there. We're
Hanging
like,
in the tree.
I think we'll go now. It's been a lovely evening.
that's exactly. And Mika's like, "Fuck, man, I gotta go." Like, whatever. And so we left, and I don't know what Rue ever did.
You've never been back since.
So yes,
You just threw the worst firework into the fucking sky, just explodes and the macaroni and
was,
cheese everywhere.
we have puked and drank.
Oh
From
my
the-
god.
That's funny. And all this shit is still like high school time too. Like I remember
Yeah.
after I moved out, I had an apartment for a while, and I think I was out of us, our close circle. I think I was the first one to live on his own.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I didn't move out of my house till I was like 25.
It took me
Is
a
that true?
while.
No, it's a lot. Yes, it's true.
okay, because I couldn't do the math right away, but I started thinking about it. I was like,
25.
oh.
Yep.
Well, I remember I got an apartment on Maryville with an ex girlfriend of yours, Jimmy.
You're like, is it okay? I'm like, fuck. Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, look, we're telling stories. If any of the listeners happen to be ex girlfriends or spouses of my guests, you can understand that this is history.
This is a long time ago.
Yeah, it's
Honey,
before you. I know that you don't like
my
to be
love,
reminded that
a
something
long time ago.
existed before you, but this is from before you. And they're funny stories.
love you.
I'm not proud of I'm not proud of them, but they're so. I remember I got an apartment, and the guys came over, and we had a good. But I live with this person, and I've never told this story on the podcast, so I'll tell it very, very briefly. But I lived with one of Jimmy's exes because I guess I to be honest with you,
Oh, wait, hold on. Like people are like, yeah, it's a far removed ex. Like, I mean,
oh yeah,
I
like,
dated her
like
when
he
I was
dated
like,
her in grade 10, and
15.
then
We don't
this
need
is
to
like
name
6.
names.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
a namer.
Probably not a good idea.
Now, considering
Well,
what we
I
did,
dated when I was like 15, maybe. Like I was young.
I think it was a
This
little older
is-
because you were driving. We were driving. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember because one of her friends was a real bitch one time in the car. She got in and grabbed you by the back of the hair or
fucking-
whatever. But we were so I'm saying, but you were dating her when we had wheels, so it wasn't
No,
15.
that was just a reunion.
Oh, okay. Well, I wouldn't
That was
know.
like, I'm lonely, you're lonely. Let's
Well-
let's have a coffee.
I don't have an encyclopedia of all the women Jimmy has dated over the years, so
Your
I
mom,
apologize.
you know what? I need to bring this up again. Your mom, when I introduced her to who's my wife now.
What's your wife's name? Are we allowed to say it on the podcast?
Yeah, Alex. Yeah, she's when I introduced her, your mom said, "Hello, Miss 200 and
yeah.
whatever," and she numbered her.
Yeah.
I was
she
like,
said there's no point getting to
Paula.
know their names because you're just going to have a new one next time I
Yeah,
meet
pretty much. And I was like, yeah, that's
you.
your mom's cool.
So I don't remember how I bumped into your ex, but I bumped into her. I think we were having a conversation. She was saying that she was looking to move out and needed a roommate. I was saying I was in the same boat. We chatted, and I asked you if it was cool because obviously you don't
Yes,
just
you did.
fucking hey, I'm going to live with your ex. Is that cool? So everything was good in that regard. But
Do you remember my reaction?
I don't.
I laughed.
Did you really?
I laughed.
Oh, okay.
I was like, yeah, I don't mind, but
you know what? Do you know what story I just remembered? And I'm gonna tell it in this.
Yeah.
This was the genesis of a game we used to play.
Yes.
A lot.
Yes.
But we created it at that apartment. So
This is wonderful minds coming together to create something so beautiful.
this was children with boners.
Every
that's what
teenage
this was.
boy has a.
So Jimmy and I, we were. I was living at this place, and I only lived with his ex for like a month because she just wasn't paying her bills and
Hence
was fucking.
the laughing.
I was fucking around. Made me very uncomfortable because she just never went to work, and she would be in all my shit and invite strange.
Can I borrow your stuff?
Yeah, she was just made me very uncomfortable. But during that month,
But don't worry because I'll help you out too.
let's put it this way: it wasn't very long after her and I were living together that her and I were fornicating. We're
Fair enough.
yeah. A lot of people told me after the fact, like, yeah, that's why you don't live with chicks, because you live with a girl. Eventually, if you guys are both single, you end up fucking. Well, that was the case with this particular person. And I remember one night because Jimmy was over, and I think that she was sort of being flirtatious with the two of us. I'm going to save a lot of time on the podcast and say that I had my first threesome with my friend Jim.
You know what?
Just looking at Mika's face. And
Yeah,
I missed it.
I don't think Mika really knows about this. High five.
I'm sure he's heard the story before.
Yeah.
But not really in depth
Not
of
in
it. Because I mean,
details.
because from what I remember about that night,
Still not sure I
it was
wanna
just
hear
a
it.
whole bunch of, a whole bunch of flirtation, whatever, and it just the eyebrow raises.
I think we played it was either I don't think that was the night we came up with this game, but it may very well have been.
It was the beginning. It wasn't
Yeah.
that we started. It was the beginning.
I
Of,
think we were playing like
need-
Truth or Dare or something, and it was just like, I dare you to kiss him, I dare you to touch his dick, I dare you to finger her, and it was just like
It got
snowflake
progressively better.
And I think I just flat out said at one point, "Do you guys want to just fuck?"
And I was like,
it could have been like we're
me?
at that point. So yeah, well, we ended up going from the living room into the bedroom,
Yep.
and it was just all sorts of, oh no, we went into the shower, the two of us.
I totally forgot about that. Yes,
And she'd just be like making it with one of us, then she'd turn around and make it with the other one of us.
Yeah.
That must have been great for her. What a greedy person.
Well, hold on a second.
Shower
Hold on a
sandwich
second.
right there.
Great for her. How? Because we were very inexperienced. Nobody knew what they were doing.
That is true. You get two half experienced guys. I think it equals one.
I'm sure it was.
positive
Yeah,
experience.
it's true. Together, we formed a team of.
Is that like the only time when a sandwich in the shower is good?
We were two
Yes.
guys batting 500 at the.
I don't think we're batting
No,
500.
not even
I think
close.
we're batting 100. So at least
So she got like a fucking 8th round draft pick.
Yeah,
basically, is what
but she got some. Oh, did she get some?
So, but it was so funny because I remember, and I'm sorry if this is too graphic, and I'm sorry if anyone doesn't want to hear this. My mother listens to this podcast.
Hi, Paula.
I remember we went into the bedroom, and it was funny because I don't think this is important, but fuck it, it's a story. And you know what? A comedy podcast, they get pretty goddamn graphic. I think, was she blowing you or blowing me?
She was blowing me, and
And
you
I was having sex
You
with
were,
her.
yeah. I mean,
We were making
Aw.
love.
You were looking into each other's eyes like you
There
are
was-
now.
yeah.
We were.
It was, there was no music playing. But
I'm not
there was
proud
music
of this.
playing.
I'm
Hey,
laughing because it's a childish story, but it's funny to me.
Hey, it's a coming of age tale of sorts.
Coming
Yeah.
in jail. But do you want to tell?
Oh, I was going
everybody?
to tell the part that got you upset. That
Well,
made you
not
uncomfortable.
upset. It was just the ending of my portion.
Well,
that's all.
You couldn't stop. No, that was the other time at the hotel.
No, that was.
Or are we
at-
talking about a different time?
There's
I have
been
many times,
several
guys. We have to footnotes all of the different
We
times that
were-
Jimmy and I have done horrible things.
It was in your room because you were putting your hand on the wall.
Right. I was trying to get leverage, and Jimmy's legs were
Yep.
around her, so she was between Jimmy's legs, as one does once whilst filleting someone. And he had his legs around her, and I was behind her, but we were laying all of his. They're all on our sides.
It was
kind
all
of thing.
leaning
So
towards the
I had
wall.
my hand on the wall, but my hand was sliding down the wall. So the only place I could put my head to get any leverage was on Jimmy's knee.
I was like, nope.
And so as I'm going, my hand's kind of rocking back and forth too. And this guy, he's getting his cock sucked. And the only thing he can think of is my hand kind of caressing his leg.
Yeah.
And he's like, could you, dude,
I
stop
was like,
it.
seriously, just like put your hand on your hip, put behind it, like
why I was
put your hands. You know what? Take both your hands, put them behind your head like a movie star. Just go with it. But he couldn't.
I would
he
think that
didn't.
would have been a bigger boner
And,
killer than it is just me with my hands behind my head on my side like Bill Clinton
Yeah, but
getting
see,
blown.
that's the whole point, is that I wasn't watching you at all.
that's so
I was watching my own situation, but my own situation was interrupted when all of a sudden my leg is getting caressed at the same time, and I'm like,
It's just
"What?"
extra love.
And then I look, and he's
Okay.
like, and Josh, he's like, "Oh, sorry, dude, sorry, okay." Okay, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. And I was like, okay, no, I'm done. See ya. You guys can finish. Jimmy out.
It was so, I don't know, it was funny. Because we started playing a game afterwards. So I'm sure,
We realized the fun that we had that night.
oh God, yeah. And there was
and
this
we
game.
wanted more.
Yeah. Like,
It
well,
was
the
like
way-
a drug.
everybody knows that people play Truth or Dare because they want to make it with somebody in the group or touch somebody or see somebody make it with somebody. Like Truth or Dare is just a lubricant into people making out and fooling around.
Right.
No one's like, I play Truth or Dare because I want to reveal my embarrassing secrets.
That's
right? You
why
play
I
Truth or Dare
Yeah.
so you can avoid the truth with a dare, and hopefully you got a wingman who's going to dare
You're
you to do
always
something you
so-
know they
Yeah.
want you to
You're
do.
always so disappointed when they pick truth. You're like, pick a fucking
yeah,
dare.
but
The
it's like
bottle
it's like a
lands on the
buffer.
one that you wanted it to. Like
Yeah.
it's, yeah.
Oh shit.
So
we gotta go.
Jimmy and I, we sort of came up with this
Yeah.
game that we started playing when we had, girls over to the thing. And Mika, you may have been a party to it a few times as
Nope.
well. No?
No, I didn't even
Mika-
know the rules of
Mika
this game.
was a
Oh, well,
good
you're
boy.
about to find out. So here's a game. This will be my legacy,
was a
our
good boy.
legacy.
I'm
Yes,
well
he was.
aware of the game,
But
never-
I still think it's
never
fun for the
party
listeners
to the game.
to hear
Yes.
what it was. So what we used to do is we used to play this game that we called Draw
Draw
3.
three.
Draw three.
We should have made like a song for it. Too.
Well, one of us would have had to learn an instrument. The way the game was played was instead of playing Truth or Dare, where you kind of have to own, like I dare you to kiss me. Then you kind of know what your intentions are when you dare someone you want them. Oh, I dare you to come blow me or whatever.
The point of the game is to get laid, or
Yeah.
at least something serious.
So, but instead of you having to own the like I dare you to kiss me, the way we would do it is everybody you just use a regular deck of playing cards, and before the game starts, everyone writes down. Everyone gets a chance to contribute some suggestions. Could be like make out with the loser, whatever. Blow someone, flash someone for 5 seconds, whatever. it is.
also, sometimes the participants in the game, not us, said dirtier things than we did.
Oh God, yeah, and that
and
was
we were like,
great.
"What?
Oh, you guys are into this shit.
Seriously?"
So what?
All right.
So what you would do? The reason we called it Draw 3 is that we would deal everybody 3 cards, shuffle the deck. Everyone gets dealt 3 cards. You flip them over, you add up the value, right? And then just that's your score. And the way it would work is, once somebody had, let's say, the highest or lowest, you would draw a number out of the hat. The number corresponded to something you had to do. And it was just that simple. So basically every game started off simple enough. I remember the second time that I'm thinking of, we had played that game with the same person maybe a year or so later.
Yes.
She had a friend
Who wanted to play?
wanted to play,
Didn't
but
want to really participate that much, but wanted to play.
everyone has a fear of being left out.
Absolutely. And yeah.
And the funny thing with this was, I remember we played, and I think 15 minutes after meeting someone, she had my penis in her mouth. And I remember that being
That's a first.
Respectively.
well, here's the thing. I remember that being one of the
Well,
most
you gotta follow the
uncomfortable.
rules.
Well, that's what it is.
Yeah.
We're not-
Respect
you're not
the rules.
jerks about
I
it.
think that's
These
probably
are the rules. Are you into playing? She says, absolutely. Well, all right.
that was
let's
one
play.
of the most uncomfortable things for
We
me in
rented-
my life, and I can only imagine how it was for the stranger blowing a.
But here's the thing.
a
We
strange
rented
pudgy guy.
a motel room
Right. Sorry for
out
the
in
clicking.
Vanier.
Right, classy joint.
And this
You hear that
girl,
name? It sounds French,
Good
man.
Lord.
this girl who didn't know you or I,
Yeah.
showed up at a random motel and was willing to play. So there's no like, oh my god, advantage. Nothing.
You're saying she's
Nothing.
asking for it?
She she was definitely into the game. And I later found out she lived down the street from my parents'
Yeah.
place.
Well, here's
Lovely.
here's the thing. She
It's
went
interesting running into them and you're like,
when it began.
hi.
When it began, she went down and back up, down, and then Amy's phone rang. I'm not editing that up. Fucking. It's not enough in English. The other girl's phone rang, so she stopped. I stopped, and then the other one came out to answer her phone, and then that was the end of it. But even still,
Do I know who the other one is?
no.
Can you write it
I
on
don't know
paper?
who the other. I don't know who the other one is.
That's hilarious.
I don't know who the other one
I
is.
don't know who they were either.
I ran into her. She didn't run into, like, we didn't talk. I saw her, ran into her at her job. She worked at the Winners at South Keys. Again, this is like more than a decade ago, way more than that. But the idea was, it was like, I just saw her in public, and I, like, what do you do? It's like, hey, how are you? Remember we met for 30 minutes and you blew me? Right? You don't even know my name. I certainly don't. It just,
Remember this mole?
that turns my stomach. 'Cause remember this mole? That's fucking hilarious. I hope the podcast listeners stuck through our bullshit high school story to get to these stories at this point.
The good stuff.
But yeah, so that was a fun game we used to play. Back in,
I think what?
This was slightly outside of high
I
school.
think
too.
that's when it ended.
Oh, that was probably the last time.
I think it was after that time.
I mean, I'm thinking back and laughing on it, the ridiculousness of it. But at the same time, like, these are stories that people tell their therapists about. Like, I don't know this girl. I hope it didn't scar her, because I have a frightening,
I heard she's a porn
grotesque
star now.
penis. Is she? Oh, that's horrible. I just see the idea is, like, I
movie's called
shudder.
Draw
I
3.
shudder at the thought now, because again, the idea is like, it's called what?
Draw 3.
Draw 3. Fuck her. We are owed some royalties off of that. I just remember that being the thing. I'm trying to remember how long it was. That was a fun apartment. You fucked up your finger there.
Yeah, that's
that
is a classic story.
Because once she moved out, our good friend Pat Gardner moved in with me.
Yeah.
And then it was just, this is just the buddy place. Then it was like a safe place.
Yeah.
That
But
was
there
the
was
hangout
drinking and
spot,
smoking
for
pot
sure.
and everything like that afterwards.
Yeah.
But we had a Tim Hortons, which is, I guess for any of my international listeners, is like a
Delicious coffee.
Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks sort of place.
A place to get
But
coffee,
not fancy
and
like
fried
Starbucks.
dough.
Exactly. So we would just, and it was open 24 hours. So there's nothing else in the area at all. Like, I kind of lived across the street from a giant field. And
Experimental
then,
farms.
yeah, exactly. And they were developing stuff. It's not totally developed in the area, but they were developing everything around there. So this is this lone apartment building standing in the middle of nowhere. And then a parking lot that had this coffee place and a convenience store. And that's it. And so we used to go down and get donuts and coffee, in the middle of the night. But there was one night you guys were there, and you can tell the story. I wasn't there for it.
It was like an ice storm or something like that occurred that night.
You know, like, okay, so you get these like rainfalls, and it's in the in-between months where like the rain will freeze over. So just in front
But
of
there was snow that was down.
there was snow. Yeah.
Lots of
So
snow.
It must
Greater
have
than
been
mountain.
fall or spring. It must have been spring, possibly. Anyway, whatever. So
It was cold.
we went on a run to get coffees and
Sandwiches.
and sandwiches, whatever. Just eats
Yep.
stuff to put in our bellies, and we crossed like this big snow pile before this little strip of road, and then there's the Tim Hortons, the coffee place, and like Josh was saying, like, it was just being developed, so it was like a brand new road, so the whole road was slick ice,
Sheet of ice. Clean.
perfectly clean.
Smooth.
You could have skated on it, maybe not. Anyway, you could slide on it either way. So we were running.
Did slide on it.
We had a great
whole
time.
bunch.
It was lovely. We were running, sliding, good time. Go to Tim Hortons, get our coffee, donuts, enough stuff that we had our hands full. I
Our
think.
rations were full.
Our rations were full. So we're on our way back, still doing the same thing, running and sliding, just to a lesser extent. Drop our coffees and whatnot. So we're doing
Being
that.
responsible. Don't want to drop the coffees, the sandwiches for everybody. Want to keep the things intact. Except
So I
This
forget
guy.
if I had given you what I was holding.
Yep.
Or did I have it? I gave it to you.
You gave it to me.
So
Because that sounded bad, eh?
Gave it to you.
Yeah. So you gave me the food.
yes. So we kept sliding, or I must have kept sliding either way one last time, and ended up having way too much momentum for the end of the road, and had to like run up this snow hill thing that was at the end of the road.
No. You were like, I'm going over top. And I was like, I'm going around.
Yeah, because there was a hole. The way it worked was there was a hole in the fence to get back to my building from this parking lot.
Yeah.
And directly in front of the hole in the fence, they had built up all the snow
Yeah,
and
like at the
everything
end
like
of the
that.
road. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was like a dirt hill that I think got covered and frosted too.
Right.
So instead of walking around it to the hole in the fence, you were going to go up and over because I remember Jimmy saying that.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we must have been
Adventure Town.
inebriated.
Oh, big time.
was
Yeah,
almost
for
That's a
sure.
terrible
question.
decision when it's icy.
But no, yeah, you said you're going to go up over top. You're like, I'm going to go up over top. And I was, yeah, I'm going around because I know where this is going to happen. I know exactly what's going to happen.
So getting up is relatively easy, but getting down, not so easy.
Yeah, because I
But
think
taking
you
my
slipped.
time. Oh, 100% slipped.
Yeah.
My feet came out like a cartoon with my, I went up in the air, fell down, and I put my hands down like I was sliding down the backside of the hill.
But it was like steps. Like somebody had walked over top of it. So when you were sliding down, it was like pow, pow,
there were
pow,
cracks.
pow, the whole way down.
I was like bumping down or whatever.
Yeah, like Yosemite Sam or something, falling
And-
down a cliff. Boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom.
Very hilarious because Jimmy just bursting
Oh.
out laughing.
It was your reaction when you hit the bottom.
So
You're just
funny.
like, ah. And I was
So-
like, I mean, it was hilarious, right?
So I get to the bottom, and somewhere during that fall, I had caught my finger in a crevice of ice. And at the bottom of the hill, at the bottom of the hill, I grab, like I look at my hand, like something feels tight in my finger. And anyone that's ever hurt themselves this way knows exactly what I'm talking about. But I'm sitting in a puddle of water.
Fuck, it was funny.
And I look at my hand, and if you grab your hand, you hold your hand sideways, and your index finger, if you were to take at the big knuckle, if you were to take the
It looked like
end part
two
of your
fingers.
finger, if you were to take the end part of your finger,
The first two knuckles.
pull it up, and then push it into the next knuckle.
Yeah, if you turn
it's
your finger into a
basically-
double-decker bus, you
Yeah,
take the first two knuckles, you
100%.
lift them
Yeah,
up, slide them
perfect.
back on top,
Yeah,
double-decker bus
And
finger.
this-
in my finger.
This
but
is what
short,
you
short
jammed
finger.
in my face
Yeah.
to say, and as you were screaming. Well, my laughter turned into screams right away. Right away. Food drop, coffee drop, everything like, oh my God. And I was like, you want to go to the hospital?
No. You were dry heaving.
Oh, did I? I don't even remember that. But yeah.
Because wasn't he pull it out, pull it out?
Yeah, yelling at me. He's like, pull it out, pull it out. And I was like, oh, yeah, no, I do remember
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Because that's like,
Kept slipping off, I
oh,
think
it
you
was
said.
gross, right? So then I was like, okay. So I dropped
Super
the
tight.
coffees, did all this stuff.
Super tight.
And his hands were freezing and they're soaked.
wet.
They were soaked. So I was like, okay. So I go to grab it, and it literally feels, if you put your two fingers on top of each other, that's what one finger felt like.
Oh,
It
yes,
was just
perfect
so
example.
weird. So I grab it, and I'm trying to find the back of the knuckle so that I could pull it forward. But like his hands are too wet, so I'm like slip. And every time I slip, he's like, ah! like I'm sure the agony of the pain
Oh, I
was
was
just
screaming
horrible.
at you to pull it out. I remember that much.
And so then like, okay, so I did it a second. I was like, okay, listen, this is really gonna hurt. Okay, I'm gonna do this on the count of 3. We're gonna get this done. So I found the back of the knuckle. It's so gross. And I was like, okay. So I was like, put the right pressure behind it. I was like, okay, count of 3. 1, 2. And as soon as I said 2, I pulled it just so he wasn't expecting it. And I felt the thing slide and it snapped back into place. And he's like, oh.
But it made a noise. It was like
Yeah. It was just like, it was so gross. But
Oh,
anyways, it went
so
back into
relieving.
place. You're like, oh, so good. Let's go drink. And I'm like,
Yeah, because you
right.
guys got back to my apartment. I remember you telling me the story, and I was like, oh, and Mika's showing me his finger, and it hadn't really swelled at that point yet.
yeah.
It was still fresh, but the idea was like Mika was holding. So for the rest of the night, I think it was Heineken's. 'Cause I remember the green bottles, so it was either Heineken or Moosehead. But Mika was holding the bottle with his hand, and it looked like his index finger. You know how some people go to drink and they lift their pinky and it's sitting up like that? Mika's index looked like it was that. But the reason it looked like it was sitting up was because the knuckle had swollen so much that it was holding his finger
huge.
off of the
it was like
the thing.
It was like an inch or 2 off the bottle, but yet his
Yeah.
finger was still touching
touching the bottle. Yeah. So it was just, it made
What did you refer to?
I
It's
said
like
that
a-
his finger, and for years afterwards, it's still
snake?
kind of there. Right? Can
Oh
you see
yeah,
it?
100%.
Yeah, it's still got a thickness. Oh, it looks much better.
Oh,
you
yes.
can't even tell anymore, you big bitch.
Well, I just injured my other knuckles, so you can't even see it now.
You just evened them out. You did it to all of them.
Respective.
I said his finger for the longest time, and we're saying years afterwards, looked like a snake digesting a rat.
Yeah.
That's what I said. It looked like just like this
terrible.
thing, and a big lump in
bulbous
the middle.
knuckle.
I don't know if I ever thanked you for that.
With the
Thank
analogy, or fix your
No, for pulling my finger out.
I've always tried to describe it to people, never been able. I appreciate the analogy. Yeah, well, no, you thanked them. Of course you would have. a million times. Every
Oh,
time we
yes.
tell this
No.
story, you go, I don't know if I ever thanked you for it.
Yeah. No, you definitely
That was
thanked me
fucking
for it.
funny. There were so many weird things. But like, obviously at this point, we're outside of high school. You know, years are going on, shit like that.
You guys still owe me a lot of DD nights, by the way.
Of what?
DD nights.
Oh, designated driver. That's not
Yeah.
gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I was the only one who had a car for the longest time. Well,
is true.
use of a car for
That
the
is
longest
true.
time. And I mean, to get into stories about that would take forever. Playing like the lefty righty game, play the follow game.
Oh, we used to play. Someone would ride trunk when there's too much. Usually me.
yeah, the man test game of you drop the windows in
We
midwinter.
didn't do
So
that. That was
terrible.
you and Jay. We sat in the back with our coats
What
on.
the
like,
fuck is this?
Yeah.
Yeah, put the AC on and all that stuff. The man test.
Yeah.
Jay came up with that, and I didn't want to back down. I was like, I'm not backing down from this.
I wasn't a man.
Yeah, you guys
Yeah,
got
I don't give a
pneumonia in
fuck.
the
I'll
back.
sit in the back and be a bitch. At least I'm alive.
Doing all that stuff.
This is like them flying at 100 kilometers an hour
I never
in the middle of
speed.
winter with the windows down in their
Dude,
t-shirts.
that was my mom's car. I don't speed with my mom's
Fucking
car.
cold.
Whatever.
I'm responsible.
I think
young
that was
man.
that was one of the trucks. Yeah, no, it was just stupid. It was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But whatever. That's what
Driving
that's
back
what young
from,
males do.
Driving back from the Quebec side with a bunch of boys in the back of the ride. And
Speaking of driving back,
Micah decides to tell me he's going to let loose his dinner in the back of the Malibu.
That was after Willie's. We used to go to a club
Yeah.
over in Hull,
Yeah.
Gatineau, I guess.
That was totally my fault too.
You're driving like an
I'm
asshole.
driving very erratically,
Yeah.
just as for
Not,
fun. I didn't.
not like normal. Like you wouldn't drive like that normal. But
No.
we had a few people in the car that we didn't normally have.
I had to be cool.
Yeah,
You know,
for
pump
sure.
up the jams, be cool.
I don't blame
And
you.
Micah,
Pump the
Micah set me
jam.
straight. You
I don't-
set me straight by throwing up
Yeah.
in my
This
mom's
is what
car.
you get. This is
I got
in.
fettuccine
Hold on.
Alfredo.
You
Hold
gave
on.
him 2 pieces of wood to
Hold
pick
on.
up in a bag.
I did not throw
No.
up in your car.
No, yes, well, partly you did.
Oh, partly, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, you were up the
We're
window.
talking about majorities, though. A majority of that.
Mike
out
Cooper
of the
cleaned my
car.
mom's car with a styrofoam, which scratched the paint
Oh,
to
really?
clean it all up. We tried to Febreze spray.
You guys
for
really
everything.
don't know how to clean up vomit. Like wood, styrofoam. It's
When
like
people
terrible.
are drunk,
You know, you're
they
not
don't
supposed to use a ladle.
care.
I believe the words were, Jimmy, pull over. I'm about to erupt.
Yes,
I'm
quote
about to
unquote.
erupt.
That's exactly what you said.
You're gonna come?
My driving's making it.
Thought you
happen.
had whiskey dick. Now you're gonna come? That's fucking weird.
That was your birthday, wasn't it?
I don't know.
You went out
I
to eat
have
with
no
your
idea.
sister on.
Nope. My mom was visiting.
Was it your mom?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys okay?
Yeah.
Anyways,
So anyway-
there was a lot of food.
That kind of segues into Kitchener-Waterloo, where my mom used to live. That's why she was visiting. So it was
Road
had a nice little, yeah. So it was a little road trip.
That was fun.
There's actually pictures of that on Facebook. You holding a ice bag or something in your face.
Oh yeah, because Mika hurt himself again.
Well, okay, so we rented a van to go down to Kitchener-Waterloo because my grandparents at the time were my grandparents were
Yeah.
giving
They stopped being his grandparents. They disowned him.
were giving me some stuff. Anyway, whatever.
Very
Well, he had made a
heavy stuff.
handcrafted pool table.
Yeah, my grandfather had made a pool table, so we drove down
He
there,
made it
and I
out
wanted
of
it.
lead and concrete. The
So
thing weighed
yeah,
so much.
fucking heavy. Anyway, so we decided that this is a perfect opportunity to have some visceral experience. Rented a van. Unfortunately, van only a 2-seater. So we
Yep.
stopped at Josh's place.
Always a bad
and
move.
Picked up picked up his
Josh will
computer
know
chair.
what to do. No.
Picked up his computer chair, which had
Oh really? Fuck! I
wheels
forgot
on the
about that.
bottom.
Well, we thought we could lock it
And it was that. No, remember that square thing with the wheels on it? That's what you were sitting on when you hurt yourself. We had because it was a moving van, so it gave us like one of those little flat wooden dollies with 4 wheels on the
Were
bottom
we
to move
watching
stuff.
Jackass at the time?
I don't know if we
Oh,
brought it wheel.
probably.
Oh
I
yeah,
feel as
that
though we
would've
would.
been- that's
And
very-
the
Would have
lovely
been during
women,
those days.
the lovely women from
The flashing
the Flashers.
Oh God, yeah.
on the way
When
down.
we were driving
Yeah.
down, there was
416.
there was women and the 2 guys in
Two
the front.
guys
So the 2
had no
boyfriends in the
idea.
front.
Had
No,
no
I think they
idea.
did because every time we looked over, they were like shaking their head no at us or something. But then their chicks would be
Really?
flashing us their tits. Oh, there's no way that chicks are bouncing around in the back showing us their tits, and the driver doesn't see that shit
I
happening.
didn't see
in the,
the
fucking rear
flashing.
view.
You mentioned that.
Oh, I saw it
I totally saw.
Yeah.
I saw a nipple.
because you were sitting in the passenger
I
seat,
saw
and I was
nipple.
sitting very close. To
I was
Jim.
the one that got it going, so we pulled up to them, and I
flashed
mooned
your
them.
butt.
I gave them.
That's where
big
you
old-
lost the
big old moon. Yeah.
That's where you lost the
The bandana.
bandana.
Yeah. So
What? How'd you lose a bandana stick in your ass out of a window?
Well, it's
No,
complicated.
because he
You put the
stuck his head
flag
out.
between your butt cheeks and you're like, here we go.
Started to hang outside. No.
He tied it around his nuts to hide him.
Yeah.
Like a bull.
wanna
You
give
tried to
him too
piss
much.
yourself off and just tie your nuts back.
I want to give him the whole meat and potatoes.
Jesus Christ, that's funny.
Just
The meat
Just the
and potatoes.
potatoes.
Okay.
That was fun, though. That was like the furthest road trip that we'd done because we drove
That's
all the
where
way.
actually you discovered to give us French vanillas that were actually delicious.
Absolutely. Tim Hortons French rolls were outstanding
much
everywhere but
frothier.
Ottawa. Yeah, they were sweeter and frothier. But yeah, that was a good trip because I mean,
We
really
had
the
to-
best part of it was getting flashed
I
on
got
the.
15 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just going to add
You guys
that
can
on.
keep going.
No, you know what? We can always do another one later. We have a lifetime of stories. So
I'm
I think
full of
it's.
stories.
No. I sorry. I don't know if you want to edit it out or whatever, but I just
No. Hey, it's real. I don't
shit
edit
going on.
anything. So where you headed to yoga class?
yeah. I decided to take up yoga.
Just want to get more flexible.
yeah.
I don't want to talk about
100%.
that. That sounds boring.
It's, whatever. I don't even.
I just
Remember Yves Gagnon?
yeah, he got you into it.
Little name drop.
Yeah,
Old boss.
I remember. I don't think Jimmy would know.
talk about yoga all the time.
No idea who this guy is.
He's a contractor.
Well,
Who does yoga?
Yeah. Yeah. He used to talk about it all the time.
Why did you sound like that when you said that? He used to talk about it all the time. I mean, was
Did I
that
do a
was that a
list?
Freudian slip?
Maybe.
Well, here's the thing. You got 15 minutes. That gives us enough time to talk about the one of the things that we did afterwards, which was the television show, and then we can get into. So, just a little teaser for you guys. My two best friends have since found the loves of their lives. Hopefully, statistically speaking, one of them isn't going to stay in a marriage, but they've met the love of their lives. They've gotten married. They've had children. So if you guys want to hear those stories, email contact@onemanpodcast.com and let me know that you'd like to have these two guys back, and we'll find more stories. We'll prepare a little more and we can go into that stuff. So maybe what I'll do is we'll end this episode by telling the story about the time that we did the All for Nothing,
That
that
was
TV show that we did,
that was
the
a
home
very
renovation
long-
show,
yeah.
or whatever.
That was
So-
a long 2 weeks.
I'm gonna give
that was tough.
a little bit of background for everybody before we go into some of the stories of what we did. But I mean, I've had stories up and down. We've been friends for a long time. We've done a lot of stuff together. So again, there's lots of stories that we haven't told and probably haven't even thought of to tell. But I one of the things that's great about these two guys is the fact that doesn't matter what I've had going on, whether it was moving or projects or work or whatever.
Stop
these-
moving.
Yeah, these guys have
Seriously.
always been there. And at one point, my mom bought a house, and a friend of mine, after I'd started comedy, worked for a show called All for Nothing, which is a home renovation TV show where you basically got two families competing. The family that increases the value of their house the most over the course of those 2 weeks wins a free commission-free listing from a local realtor or whatever. So it's a pretty good price if you're selling your house. Here's the thing. My mom wasn't selling her house, but she had a bunch of renovations that she was looking to do. So she said, hey, look, can you do this show? You know what I mean? And I actually didn't even live there at the time. But, as the way TV is, not everything you see on a reality TV show is actual reality. So they fudged sort of the backstory or whatever. But the fact of the matter was we were still participating in the show. We still had 2 weeks to get as much renovations done as possible. And the reason they call it All for Nothing is that the TV show doesn't give you workers. They don't give you a budget. They don't give you anything. They just watch you do it and you fundraise yourself. You hold, what do they call it? Fucking yard sales. I'm sorry, I struggled with that. But anyways, long story short is, Jimmy and Micah agreed to be a part of this as well as, a few other people, but nobody, including my mom, was more involved in it than the three of us. The three of us were basically dealing with everything.
I was really good at getting people coffee. Like that's
Yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know, Micah is it safe to say engineer? I know your
No.
title now is project coordinator, but you went to school for, am I correct?
No, I went to Algonquin for
Architect. I
architectural
apologize, not
technology,
engineering.
Yeah,
Architectural
It's not
technology.
even. Yeah.
But you've worked in
I
the
work for an
trades. You
engineering
have to
firm.
know how
Yeah.
a house is put together
Yeah.
in order to do that stuff. And Jim has been a contractor for some time now. You worked at Home Depot, and then you've been working
Yeah.
in the trades ever since. And I, long before I ever dreamed of being a stand-up comedian or working in telecom, was an electrician. In fact, I was an electrician, and I'd ended that before we even did this show. So in terms of getting into the story,
We were like the Three Stooges.
we were set up for
I mean,
success. We had experience.
Three
amongst-
Musketeers.
yeah, we had the experience amongst the three of us to do this undertaking, and that was that was insane. So we were working. I was at the house at 7:00 every day, starting to work with, certain volunteers, and Jimmy, you were there at times. But both of these guys were working their full-time jobs during
That's
the day.
why I say it was a long 2 weeks.
Oh yeah. And then we would work until the wee hours of the morning. Like there was a night we were just laying tile.
The time crunch is real. Just the if there's one comment that I can say on those shows, the fucking time crunch is real.
Yeah. You finish when you
the
finish.
problem is though that
not
occurs is like they want to be there for every step. But they can't
were
be
getting
there for every
pissy
step.
about it.
They were very pissy about it. And to the fact of like, I mean, the one situation with the window that I'm talking about, the window that had been, the siding has been put over top of the window. Well, they wanted to be there for that to be removed, but in order for that to be removed, I had to do that to put, cladding and metalwork and woodwork around it.
Wait
Stuff
around
like
to
that.
fucking do it.
I can't wait for that. And they literally yelled and said, "Can you pretend to take it off?"
Yeah.
I was like, sure, we can do that, but next time, well, call us. I mean, there was a lot of back and forth.
Yeah, we had gutted that's one of the things that I spent the most time was I was liaison between mom, like the team, and then the film crew. And so they would say, tomorrow morning, we're going to be here to film you guys tearing it. Like they would ask us, what are you guys doing tomorrow? And because Jimmy was effectively, for all intents and purposes, the foreman and the head contractor, Jimmy was calling the shots, and that made the most sense. And he would say, tomorrow morning, we're going to do this. So we would tell them, and they wouldn't show up until 2 p.m. And we did what we were going to do anyways, because again, we had no choice. We had 2 weeks
Can't
to
wait around for them. Fuck.
And this renovation, for the record too, I didn't really specify. We didn't build a laundry room and refinish a floor. We gutted the entire main floor of my mother's house: bathroom, kitchen, dining room, living room, laundry room, and we redid a bedroom upstairs.
Plumbing.
So the idea was,
electrical,
we basically had like
all to go to
3 days per room to do if you break it down that simple.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, and this is also doing this in the after the work shift or whatever. So we were all just banging it as best we could. I remember the day that we'd go to the bathroom, they asked us to carry the toilet. If you've ever carried a toilet, we all know they're not very heavy. But they wanted us to carry, that's a joke for anyone who doesn't know, the toilet, carry it back into the house so they could film us taking it back. And I think we accommodated their bullshit like for the first couple of days. And then after that, we were like, you know what? If you guys want to film it, be here. If not, we're going to keep moving because it's a competition regardless. And so we kept going. And I think we did a fundraiser. Oh, fuck. No, I can't do that. Jimmy's writing a note here, but a story to tell on it. I don't, because the story is not involving me, so I can't. And Micah has now read the note. I can't tell that story because it's not mine to tell, and I don't want to embarrass the person in it. It has nothing. Yeah. Sorry, everybody.
Sorry.
You want to know,
Sorry.
you can ask me the next time you see me face to face, and I'll tell you the story.
Anyway,
Anyways, the fact of the matter is, one of the big things we did to raise money for this project was we did a fundraiser at Absolute Comedy, and we sold tickets and everything like that. We had tons of people come. I think we made $3,700 that night, which was great for.
I think Jason helped you, like hooked you up.
Yeah,
big
Jason.
time.
Yeah, Jason. I came off. I brought Jason. Jason agreed to be part of the show. I brought Jason on, and Jason is a big gambler who you'll hear comics. We joke about that all the time. Well, the money he was going to take to gamble that night, $500, he handed to me on stage after he got off. So that was a great help. It was great to have him help. But yeah, I mean, the whole thing was tough. Mom and I were fighting the whole time because Mom
stress
doesn't. Yeah,
Oh, it's hugely stressful.
Oh, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. All of us were having tight moments, whatever. I was very new in my relationship with Crystal too. Well, a year or so in, things were stressed for us because she was trying to help. I was fighting a lot with Mom. I felt frustrated that at times I felt like Crystal wasn't on my side in certain things, but that's all old shit. The point is, I'm fighting with my girlfriend. I'm fighting with my mom. I'm fighting with the film crew. I'm trying not to fight with the people who are busting their fucking ass doing all of this for us.
You lost your voice too at the time.
Yeah. Oh,
which was great.
Fuck, I forgot all about that.
Great.
The first week I was actually hosting in Montreal.
Yeah, Josh, what do you want us to
every
get
night.
done today?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was talking all day. Foreman, there's dust in the air. I lost my voice. I was actually every single day driving.
to Montreal.
Yeah. For the first Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I had to drive. I had to stop what I was doing at 5:00, drive to Montreal, do the show, and then drive home. So
Like a
I would get
2
home.
hour drive or something.
Yeah,
like that,
exactly.
One way.
I'd get home at like 1:00 every day, and then I'd be up back to the house for 7:00 in the morning. And it was just like that. I lost my voice. I remember I've never been so embarrassed doing comedy in my life because I was on stage whispering to a microphone. And if you guys can hear the way that sounds right now, imagine doing comedy. And I was the host. So it wasn't like another host goes up, says, hey guys, how you doing? Gets them warmed up and then goes, now listen, your first act has lost his voice, just so you know it's not a gag or whatever. I walk out, they're like, hey guys, you ready to get this show started? Welcome your host, Josh Williams. Hey guys, how's it going? Yeah, I go, listen.
You could switch your whole way you do things. You can start doing just like a whisper routine,
But there's no inflection. There's no, I can't be like, so you know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing to it. So you're just like, hey, I just need you to know this isn't a joke. And I go, I'm really sorry. I go, I see your faces. I know you're expecting a joke. It's not there. I go, I feel like I'm Eric Clapton and someone has cut my hands off. So I'm just mashing stumps into strings going, I swear to God, I know how to do this. I'm really not this bad. And then every now and again, I'd be like, so
that'd work for you.
like my voice would just come back like one sound. And I'd be like, it's bad. No, it's not bad. And so the crowd was super cool, but I remember being so embarrassed.
Did they get like free nachos that night?
No, they had no kitchen. But the idea was just, so I'm driving back from Montreal. You guys are working full days and then working full nights. It was crazy.
Not to mention we had to follow like a designer's thing that they had sent.
Oh yeah, some suggestions.
Things and like clearly
some of the shit was
went on like regular,
budget.
This is
stuff.
how you should do it, and this is how whatever. And I'm looking at these designs like this can't work here.
Some shit didn't make sense
because the house wasn't squared, and they wanted like 20. What was it? 24 by 12 tiles.
They wanted 12 by 24 tiles, and they wanted to run along the wall side and everything like that. And I said, what you got to understand is that this wall is off by 7.5 inches all the way down.
So we angled them so it wasn't as obvious.
them through the whole first floor. If there's any contractors out there that understands what that means, from the back corner to the front corner of the house, all lined up.
So
just fantastic.
Just to paint the picture for people, like the house.
Pat myself on the back.
Yeah, it was great, dude.
The house was or is it's like a wartime house that they slammed up for widowers and for
they built it in a week.
People, so it's
really?
Like it's like one full story that's regular, like 8 foot or whatever it is, and then the second story is like a half story.
Right.
So you've got a strip down the middle. That's a full story, but the rest of it is sloped due to the roof. The roof kind of cuts into. So
the room ends up being like maybe 8 feet wide at most.
Yeah, it's not very big, but it is extra space as opposed to just being an attic.
The idea was it got the job done for very little cost. So anyway, it was.
Oh, and we killed it.
The best type of frame to start with. So anyway,
right? Yeah. So that's the thing. They weren't building these things for their aesthetics. They were building them to shelter people.
Yeah,
basically.
Do you remember how much we raised the value of the house?
Yeah, we raised the value of the house. So I think we spent $11,000.
You know what though? That's the other thing. You guys spent that, but she included the receipts for like her new washer dryers and stuff like that.
Yeah, which never made the show.
It shouldn't have been included because that's to go with her wherever she goes. Like that wasn't part of the house renovations and whatever. It was just So technically, we won.
Oh, when they added up. But here's the thing. This was the problem. We weren't selling the house. These were just renovations we need to do. And here's the thing with my mom. As I told her at the beginning, I go, look, at the end of the day, the grand prize is to sell the house, and the real estate company wants to sell the house. They want to make a profit. They're giving you
seeing our work,
they give you the commission-free listing, but they don't give you a
hands on
commission-free
that.
like sale or whatever on the back end. So mom kept walking around saying, well, we're not really selling the house anyways, like to the crew and stuff. And I said, stop it. Because I go, we're not going to win this if the real estate guy finds out that we're not selling anyways. Yeah.
Stop telling them.
Yeah, we want a fair chance at winning. I go, that's what all of us are working for anyways. If there's nothing else that we can have from all of this, it's the win. Let us have the win for our hard work. But she wouldn't stop saying, well, I'm not selling anyways. So I think after a while they were just like, well, we want to give it, we want to make some money off of this. So we're going to give it to the people who are actually selling their house.
But hold on a second. And the competitors, what were they doing?
They were selling.
Hold on.
Oh, they were selling. Yeah, it was funny. Well, it was TV. So on TV, our story was that I got all my mom's savings that went into her renovations to pursue my comedy career, which was not the case. And I was going to get back. Of course, in the story was that I still lived there and everything, which I did, and I lived with Crystal. So, I mean, that's the thing with reality TV, guys, is you never know what the real story is behind things. But their other family, they were selling their home so that they could start a foundation to take survivors.
It was just
the mother
and daughter.
Yeah, mother and daughter for to build a foundation for survivors of the Haiti earthquakes or whatever it was.
We lost right there.
Yeah. We weren't doing a humanitarian effort. We were just trying to give my mom some renovation money. But that's how they build it. They build it up like, oh my God, which one of these sob stories
out of
do you
this
wanna give it to?
entire thing? I mean, I'm happy with what ended up happening. I know your mom is.
Well, the house looked great. We all came to, again, I got two of the best friends that anybody could ask for. I just appreciate, you guys. So again, hey, we're an hour and 40 minutes. Micah has to go stretch. You got to stop writing things down, Jim, because I can't share these fucking things right now. But so I listen. I appreciate you guys. Just so everyone knows, Mika's going to go to yoga. Jimmy's going to go change after his long day. I'm going to get a couple of things done. But we are going to go enjoy the rest of my birthday. We're going to go have some cigars and some drinks.
Yeah, it's going to be nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to spending more time with my friends. If you guys enjoyed this, because again, I haven't ever had a sequel interview. But if you guys have enjoyed me sitting around shooting the shit with my buddies, send me an email, contact@onemanpodcast.com. And in the future, we'll sit down and maybe tell some more stories because at that point in the timeline, there's so many stories we haven't told and there's so many stories yet to tell. But, you can't fit 20 years of friendship into an hour and a half podcast.
We're also really great at giving opinions.
Oh, the opinions. They fly around like meatballs. So I do want to thank both of you guys for taking the time to sit down with me and, shoot the shit, share some memories. And of course, I look forward. I hope you guys had fun. Did you enjoy
Absolutely.
yourselves?
Our pleasure, man.
Shout out to my wife.
Yeah.
Melissa, I love you.
We'll chat with you guys again. Thank you so much. And I hope you guys enjoyed this interview.